Oh, mic check, mic check. It's time for some more Phoenix Wright. Let's enter the courtroom. Stream was missed yesterday due to unfortunate circumstances, but we're continuing tonight.
We just slept.
It was unfortunate. I did not feel great. Sleeping was what happened, but what caused it was unfortunate. So, we were about to cross-examine these folks, so I guess we're just gonna hop right into it and deal with the Battle of Goddamit, because we think they chucked a knife onto the street.
Well, we haven't even heard their statement yet. Let's hear their statement.
Yeah, let's see if they think they chucked a knife.
Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. Knocked a candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Soon had it out though, and got the window open.
Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him.
Plenty of knives around our place. Can't say I'd noticed if one or two went missing, I'm afraid. That bally thing in the victim's back really was one of ours. You'll have a job proving it, I think.
It sounds as though it was quite the battlefield in your household that evening.
Although, an entirely one-sided assault, it seems. The enemy caught us on the hop, sir. Had no choice but to dig in and take defensive measures. To be honest, if the enemy had kept shelling us for another minute, we'd have been toast. Of course, a veteran such as myself is only too aware that on every battlefield, you're just a gnat's whisker away. A gnat's whisker away from death at any moment.
God, I misread that entirely. Are we still talking about a marital quarrel here?
Well, I must say I'm dubious that this testimony will shed any light on the origins of this jackknife.
In combat, one's focus narrows such that surroundings are barely noticed. These witnesses may not be able to offer anything more than they have testified already. This may be a dead end.
That Zieks may well be right.
Well, whatever the chances, you only have this last cross-examination to uncover the truth, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
Very well, counsel. Begin your cross-examination.
Well, I mean, this seems like one where we're just gonna press everything, because there's not much to go on here.
Yes, on the day you're...
Let me know more about it.
You can't hold it. It wasn't that you had a bookmark from another woman with a kiss mark.
The reason is what you told us yesterday, I believe.
Yes, that's right. If I remember correctly, it all started because of a note that was tucked into the pages of a book belonging to Mr. Goddamit.
A rather passionate note, in fact. But Miss Goddamit found the note, discovering her husband's little secret.
And she gave him a mighty number of slaps across the face for it, too.
What a sordid state of affairs.
Hell on earth.
Oh, even he's like, whoa, that's messed up.
I say, when a chap says he can't recall such things, it's common decency not to drag it all up. And besides, half of it was wide of the mark anyway.
A likely story.
These waters run very deep.
And what transpired next after these multiple blows to the face?
After the multiple blows to the face.
Knocked a candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Soon had it out though and got the window open.
Hold it!
And the fire also spread to some items of furniture, didn't it?
The bookcase, my armchair, anything of mine really. Just so happens there was some bathwater around that evening, so I sloshed that about to put it out.
It was just, some bathwater was just hanging around?
Weird.
What? In like a bucket?
Seems weird.
You're saving it for later. Maybe they just save it for later.
A most precarious situation you put yourself in.
Ours is a 3-story townhouse on the west side of the street where the water main isn't connected yet. Have to draw water from a public water pump during the day if you need any, you see?
There you go, that's why.
Ah.
The lodgers are always moaning that they can't get any water at night. Although, that little mustached Japanese man buys water in bottles, I believe.
The defendant, Mr. Natsume, you mean?
Yes, he receives a stipend for his studies, you know, from his home country. Can you imagine being able to brew a pot of tea at all hours? He's obviously very well off.
No, not at all. Have you actually seen the state of the man?
Or where he lives. He lives in a basement with no window.
Yeah, I know, and his landlords are nuts. They set fire to the place a week ago. How crazy. Not even a week ago, a couple days ago.
I believe he uses all his income to buy books.
Well, anyway, the point is, I was able to douse the fire with water, fortunately enough.
I mean, the fact that they can't get water all the time might be relevant to something.
Or they should do.
Hold it!
And what you picked up wasn't the knife? Even though the room was on fire?
As far as I was concerned at the time, it was more important to extinguish my anger than the flames. When a woman wants to throw, she must throw.
That is most certainly not true of the Susato takedown, Mr. Naruhodo.
How did she know I was thinking that? So, please cast your mind back and try to remember. Was a knife among the items that you threw at your husband that day?
In all honesty, I don't recall. But I feel I must point out that I'm no monster. Let me see. Some bread, a cabbage, garlic, a towel, and a sponge, a napkin.
He's gonna be like, that's not all the stuff you threw.
Not
Excuse me.
You have something to add, sir? Mr. Garadeb.
Don't shoot! Sorry, I beg your pardon?
Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind?
Nothing of any significance, no. Just the barrage of projectiles the old thing launched in my direction was somewhat more solid than she implies. Books, bricks, and the fire poker I seem to recall.
Ouch. Bricks? You just have bricks hanging
just
out?
like vegetables
Uh-oh.
and
Wait, she's
napkins.
pouring it into his fucking...
Good grief, woman! We're not at home now. This is a court of law.
Let me see what they said. What was he trying to say?
When Amy's uncanny, she landed every direct hit with every bally.
Oh, dearie me. Ever so sorry, dear.
I love that she poured tea into his pipe.
She can't pour it into his cup and overpour.
What's she even doing with the teapot in here?
Honestly, John, I would never have thrown such things at you, obviously.
Well, take a look at this then. How do you suppose that happened,
Oh,
Your
it's not
pipe,
good
sir. Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles, she did. Yes. When I went to pick the thing up, it was broken in two. I'd like to see a sponge do that sort of damage.
I see. Your pipe was broken.
It would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Anyway, I've managed to bandage the thing up for now.
Ah, you all want to exaggerate, aren't you, dear?
He's pointing out a thing that happened. I wonder what we should make of this
think it
account.
is
It could be important. The defense believes Mr. Garadeb's remarks just now to be of great significance, because he might not have been, the knife might not have been thrown, but he might have been holding it.
Objection! This war veteran's words only tell us one thing. Betray a fiery wife, and pipes as well as hearts may be broken. Sentimental wisdom, perhaps, but hardly worthy of adding to the formal testimony. Indeed, common sense, one might say.
Might
afraid
one?
that I would throw solid
In that
dangerous
case-
objects at you?
Ooh.
In that case, would you at least permit us to
Examine the pipe. Oh, show me the end of the knife.
That's what I'm hoping is in there.
I hope.
Well, I don't see why not.
Oh, dearie me. There you go again. Trying to ingratiate yourself with a young lady.
Oh, you're talking to another lady. She doesn't like that.
Very well, the court will accept the gentleman's pipe as evidence.
The pipe has been entered into the court record.
Get to
Let's
that
look at it.
door,
Let's look at it. Let's look at it. Show me the end of a chipped knife in there.
Let's open up that bandage.
Oh, nothing.
Got it. It's
It's just in there. Oh. Ha ha ha. Just twinkled inside the chamber of the pipe there.
Yes, I saw it. Something's stuck in there, I think.
Let's turn it over and give it a shake. What's this?
It's a tiny fragment of metal. It looks like the tip of a blade or something.
The tip of a blade? Surely. It has to be. Fragment of metal entered into the court record. Well, we've got what we need. That was nice and easy.
I was just feeling rather disappointed for you that your request was turned down.
Oh, no, it's fine. Thanks to Sasato-san, we have some new evidence to work with. We should examine it carefully.
We already did.
We thank you for that rebuttal, Mr. Goddamit. If we could return to the crux of the matter. What can you tell the court about the knife used to attack the victim?
Okay, now where is it? Plenty of knives around in place. Can't say I noticed if one or two are missing. I'm afraid. So, one of our knives. You'll have a job proving it, I think. Actually, I think this will probably be the easiest thing I've done so far. I mean, okay, no, thank God. I was about to say, if that wasn't it, I would have been like, no way, that had to have been it. Mr. Gerdeb, could I ask you to take a good look at this, please?
You can ask, but I can't see a bally thing.
You can't.
He used to call me Dead-Eyed Deb, back in the regiment, of course. But that was some time ago now. Even when I'm trying to enjoy a large print book by the fire these days, I struggle to tell a B from a D and a P from a Q, to be honest.
That's it's not a good sign.
Oh, he does, dearie me. It's rather wearing being asked about every other letter and every other word.
You must be very dizzy.
What is that? A tiny scrap of metal?
Yes, almost certainly from the tip of a blade. And what may appear at first to be just a tiny scrap, is in fact a crucial piece of evidence.
Interesting.
You haven't put the
And where did the defense come by this evidence?
It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Garrideb's pipe.
My pipe, you say? By Jove, I wonder how that got in there. Clearly, I've been framed. And what precisely does this fragment of metal signify, Counsel? Are you suggesting that it is in some way related to the matter of stabbing on Briar Road?
Yes.
Yes. Like, did no one else look at the knife evidence? I am.
What?
When put together with another piece of evidence already in the court record, I believe this tiny fragment of metal will unravel the whole truth of this case, my lord. What? That's amazing.
You appear rather confident in that extraordinary statement, Counsel. Very well, then. Present the pertinent evidence to the court.
What evidence, when paired with this fragment of metal, allegedly reveals the truth of this entire case? Boop.
Take that!
This is the knife that was found in the victim's back. If you look closely, you'll see that there's a small piece of the tip of the blade that's missing.
A common issue with inferior blades sold at unsavory street markets. Criminals who use them regularly leave the tips lodged in the victim's bones. And what of this particular knife? No doubt its tip has suffered a similar fate, now languishing somewhere near the spine of the victim.
Did your
Nah, dude.
team say that?
No, that's not the case. The tip of this particular knife's blade is the very fragment of metal we discovered in the chamber of Mr. Garrideb's pipe.
Oh!
Oh, I think that's the first time we've hit him with damage.
With a heart attack?
Yeah.
Sheer heart attacker! Good grief! Lord Van Zieks! I don't believe it. The knife from the crime scene and this fragment of metal are a perfect match.
Oh, yes, show me that face of anguish. Finally.
Good golly gosh! Pippity poppity.
She's in a box.
I didn't even catch that. I was so distracted by the butt thing, yeah.
Order! Is this some sort of Eastern sorcery?
What? What do you mean Eastern
Put it
sorcery?
there, clearly.
This is no magic, my lord. This, a miracle. A miracle?
So Van Zieks has figured it out, has he?
Counsel, explain this extraordinary coincidence at once.
Yes, my lord. The crucial point we have to ask ourselves here is when did the fragment of metal find its way inside Mr. Garadeb's pipe?
Something that was clarified for us in the most recent witness testimony.
I'm so glad that that witness testimony was just like, done.
Yeah.
We totally could have done this last stream, but we didn't know.
Well, we thought it might be fun. Like, they might still fight with something, because as you said, there's other dudes.
Yeah, it's like 100%. Like
But
this
they
is.
might just come up in another case, as we know where they live.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Those other two weirdos.
Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked her clean out with one of her soft projectiles, she did. Yes. It would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid.
I like her little jiggle, and his like stiff just lip.
Oh, dearie me.
During the argument between these two that occurred just as the victim was on the pavement below, Miss Garadeb flung this knife at her husband. However, the knife missed Mr. Garadeb, instead striking the pipe in his hand at the time.
Which caused the tip to break off. Of course. Good lord.
Yes, and that is when the tiny tip of the blade found its way inside Mr. Garadeb's pipe.
The chances of that are 1,000,000 to 1.
That's why it's a miracle.
That's why it's a miracle. And yet there's no other credible explanation for how the tip of the blade ended up in your pipe. Then, after losing its tip, the knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out the open window. In short, this knife, which fell from the window of the Garadeb's house, is the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the back on the street below.
Ba, ba, ba.
Oh gosh. Oh dear. Oh. No. And they're fine.
Objection!
Okay, what are you gonna say to this?
He just doesn't like it.
Fancy story. But the odds of that are so slim, it's obviously impossible. A full-bodied theory, I'll give you that.
Okay, then what?
A complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points, plausibly arranged to create an almost passable vintage. Allow me to toast my learned friend's characteristically Nipponese approach to bottling his argument.
What could you have? Okay, alright, sure. Hit us with it, Zieks. What do you got for us?
But after all, it is just a theory. The bottle, I fear, is corked. Because you see...
Oh, we got leg.
It's spoilt by an insurmountable inconsistency.
How is it inconsistent?
Oh, an insurmountable inconsistent. What?
Lord Van Zieks, explain yourself. What is this inconsistency you claim to have
I
identified?
would say the book, I think. That
The
she
simplest
was holding
nature.
The book. She was up and around while this fight was happening. Couldn't have been stabbed, then picked it up.
She picked up the book and then got stabbed. Oh my god, okay, yeah, bring it on.
That's the only thing I can think he can say.
Found with the knife planted in the middle of her back. Yes, in her...
That's right, you silly little man.
Now, Joan, old thing, what are you getting so excited about? Let us consider the basic fact.
Oh my god, she bent over to pick up the book, for fuck's sake. Oh my god, okay, sure, we have to have this argument. I knew it.
That's why we knew it wasn't.
We
gonna
knew
end soon.
we knew it was gonna end soon.
The victim was walking along the pavement before being stabbed in the back and falling to the ground. If the knife that struck her had fallen from above, there's no possible way it could have planted itself into the victim's back.
That's... Oh my god, that's... she bent over to pick up the book. For fuck's sake, Zeeks. You're gonna argue every single trivial point. He's gonna call us out on everything we bring
Yeah,
up.
'cause he says our points are trivial, so he needs to be
Quite right, you see. That's exactly right. If the knife had fallen on her from above, it would have struck on the top of her head.
Well, Ryunosuke, come on, man. You need to have known this one. He's lost for words, look. I knew it. I never liked this theory in the first place. I don't know, though. What really did happen? Please, can I just say, she bent over to pick up the book.
It would appear the defenses made a rather spectacular blunder. Obviously, the knife fell out and the Nipponese man grabbed it and stabbed her afterwards.
If a theory has even one inconsistency, it cannot stand. Oh, you mean like everything you've said so far? Your theory, my learned friend, is history.
Nobody saw Soseki stab her.
Nobody saw Soseki stab her.
They just saw him run away.
So,
I think your theory has a hole there.
Yeah. But now the way has been blocked completely. Come on, Naruhodo. You can figure this one out. Come on, it's not hard. Or in other words...
We simply need to eliminate that one inconsistency and the theory will stand.
Miss Sato!
You mustn't worry, Mr. Naruhodo. You were just caught off guard, that's all. And your mind went blank. But if the path you are on is indeed correct, then a way will present itself. The key to this is the court record, I'm sure. All the information you need is there.
It seems you have nothing to say, my Nipponese friend. Well, your silence speaks volumes. Obviously, a 30-second quietness means you are disqualified from court. A tacit acceptance that your theory is fatally flawed. We're in the speed round.
Had X amount of...
You have 10 minutes to prove he's innocent. This inconsistency doesn't mean I was on the wrong track. It means that I need to sharpen my mind and dig deeper for the truth.
You already know the truth.
It's a test! Yes. If the knife fell on the victim from above, there's no way that it could have hit her in the middle of the back.
Unless...
Under normal circumstances, that is. What are you implying?
Counsel!
There is a piece of evidence in the court record that can explain this inconsistency. That can explain how the knife that fell from above could have pierced the victim's back. We already have the answer.
Goodness! utter madness!
Goodness.
Surely this must be the last time. Counsel, present the evidence of which you speak.
This is the last inconsistency. The final piece of the puzzle. I will finally get to shut Zieks up. I swear to God.
He's gonna be our antagonist in every case.
If I can successfully make sense of this, the evidence that explains how the falling knife became lodged in the victim's back is the book.
In your hand. I think the picture of it.
You think the picture? We have 3 HP.
Okay.
I wish to try the 4th book.
Okay. They both... Take that!
This, the 4th book found at the scene. This is the final piece of evidence the defense will present.
The burnt book? Is that not Mr. Garadeb's book?
Yes, and to understand its significance, we have to consider how it came to be at the scene in the first place. This photographic print clearly shows the book in question, and the victim holding it in her hand.
But as we all know, it was the police constable that put the book between her fingers like that.
He found it like that.
Quite so, as part of his wholesale transplanting of the crime scene to the opposite side of the road.
Because he found it like that.
Yeah, because he found it like that, that's true. However, as part of his testimony, Constable Beat made an extremely enlightening statement on that point. But what made you put the book in the victim's hand?
Well, sir, that's because that's how I found it. When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in the hand.
In other words, the victim had already picked the book up of her own volition. And clearly, that must have been before she suffered the knife wound.
Well, I should say so. After being attacked with a knife, I don't imagine she'd have been doing much of anything.
So the question becomes, why'd the victim have that book in her hand? I think we're, oh god, I think we're in the clear, maybe.
By Shingo! I think I'm beginning to see what may have happened now.
Oh, dearie me.
We know the book fell from the top floor of the Garadeb household onto the pavement below. But obviously, it means she caught it as it was falling. I fail to see how this is relevant to the case. At precisely the moment the victim was walking past.
Yes, at exactly that moment. The young woman was walking along the street in the light fog, and all of a sudden, a book fell right in front of her.
She likes books. She was buying them.
The book I threw.
Yeah.
Yes, oh, please say that, Naruhodo. Yes, Miss Garrett. And what do you think the woman did? What would you do if you're walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of you on the pavement?
Well, I really can't imagine it. But I suppose she might have reached down.
Dun-dun-dun, and picked up the book. Oh, look at her, look at her. It's adorable. Book pickup. Yes, that's exactly what the woman in fact did. She picked up the book.
Oh heavens!
And when the woman reached down to pick up the fallen book, what position would her back have been in? That's right, facing the sky, completely and utterly defenseless. Then, in the very next moment, while the woman was still bent over picking up the book, ka-cha! Okay, I know it's a serious injury, but the hard cut to her just on the fucking ground, it caught me off guard a little bit. The jackknife straight into the middle of her back. And at that same time, walking by chance directly behind Miss Green, was the defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume.
Well, I never.
It appeared to Mr. Natsume that the woman simply collapsed on the floor. In the dark and in the fog, he didn't see the knife falling on her from above.
Oh!
And from the other direction, the constable and his wife saw no one but the victim and her apparent attacker. So there never was a real culprit to run from the scene in the first place?
No, this was nothing more than a series of unlikely events that culminated in an unfortunate accident. And that is the real truth behind this case. Zieks would rather see a person put in jail than this was like an accident. Zieks just wants that jail time to happen. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Gerdeb, yeah, stop having your domestic disputes. They're hurting other people.
The very first time you showed me that knife, I had my suspicions. I wondered if perhaps it might have been something like that.
There, old bean. I'll visit you in prison from time to time.
Poor Miss Garadab.
Of course, I never meant for anything of the sort to happen, but
To other people.
it was all my fault, wasn't it?
Yeah, only to the husband, not to anyone else.
I take full responsibility. I let my anger get the better of me. I threw that book. And I threw the knife as well. John, dear?
It's all right, I know.
Oh,
I'm ever so sorry. Truly. I'm sorry!
oh, there she goes.
Off her box.
Off her box. Oh, and he catches her this time. Oh, you can do it. Come on, Princess Carrie. Princess Carrie, you got. That's pretty great. That's goofy as hell. Well, we almost sent a man to the gallows for that. Could have just explained it.
Lord Van Zieks, what news of Miss Garadab? She's been taken to the infirmary. It would appear that today's events have left her in an especially flustered state. However, I believe she will recover in due course. There is no cause for concern. Yes, unbeknownst to themselves, they caused what could easily have been a terrible tragedy. They shall have to prepare themselves for the consequences of their actions. There's some good news, however, my lord.
Is the victim okay?
I have just had word from the hospital where the victim is being treated. Her condition is improving steadily, and the doctor believes she will regain consciousness soon.
It's strange. We've been talking about the victim all this time, but we've never once met her.
How wonderful. The woman is out of danger, it seems.
Yes, that is good news.
So, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Yes. On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I would like to take this opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. We were just going to say, we're just joking. It wasn't real, you're not actually gonna go to jail for all this. Ha ha ha. We can just put it in the past. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Don't ask questions. You came from your distant eastern homeland to study our great British culture.
And we immediately forgive you.
And have been repaid with immeasurable unkindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies.
Van Zieks, do you have something to say?
No, he doesn't care.
Do you have some words for Soseki? He doesn't.
He's not sorry.
He's not sorry. He feels nothing.
No, it is me who should be begging your pardon.
Oh no, Mr. Natsume.
That evening, when the young woman just collapsed on the pavement before my eyes, I jumped to the wrong conclusion again, in my confusion. What conclusion, sir? I was sure that the woman was dead.
Yes, Constable Beat said the same thing, didn't he? He thought she'd been killed too.
Suppose she must have looked completely lifeless.
Like, I ran away and I should have helped.
Yeah, I should have helped. Hey, good evening. Yo, what's up? We're just about to wrap this up.
It's been about a year since I arrived in Great Britain now, but I still can't get used to life here. I can't relax. I'm sure there are evil spirits lurking in the fog, like they're haunting me.
Poor Soseki-san. His imagination really has got the better of him.
Yes, poor man.
So when it happened, I thought the young woman had been taken by the fog spirits. I should never have dropped my books like that and run away. I should have called for help, for a doctor, for the police. Instead, I've managed to create a rift in the relationship of trust between our two empires. And for that, I am truly sorry.
Yeah, alright, man.
One could indeed say that some sort of mischievous spirit has been at work here, I think. On one that created a chain of unfortunate mishaps. We were befooled by this spirit and led to false conclusions. But thanks to Lord Van Ziek...
No thanks to that asshole.
And our young lawyer here from the east. That chain has now been broken, and the spirit exorcised. I heartily commend you both.
That's the equivalent of, like, the man's not guilty, but he's like, don't worry, everybody wins today. And he gives points to Zieks, too. God damn it.
He's like, well, you wouldn't have formed your theory if you didn't push back against it. You're like, no!
God damn it. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Yes, my lord. In concluding this trial, I must ask one last time for your decisions regarding the defendant's culpability.
Oh my
I still
god.
don't like it.
I don't like him. He's still creepy.
Ready to present your findings to the court?
As the foreman of this jury, I can assure you we've reached a fair and just conclusion.
I do declare that truth can be extremely cruel at times.
Well, I didn't suspect the woman next to me. That's for sure.
Mr. Gear,
Sitting in for the old bean whilst he's out of action, you know. But I know what her decision would be. This is me, I'll finally be able to get out of here and start work. Well, it's about time.
I don't know what's going on. I'll have a cork of a story to tell the grandchildren when I get home, won't I?
I don't know if you could top your own story, old man, of just being on fire.
for your birthday.
Very well. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby demand your final decisions. Mr. Foreman.
Not guilty.
Thank you.
Not guilty. Not guilty.
Guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Whoa, the old man's got a way deeper voice, I thought.
Not guilty.
Hey, we won enough justice points for our team to win.
Very well, Mr. Soseki Natsume, I hereby pronounce you not guilty.
Yay, confetti. The confetti's just so, like, it's so ridiculous. Yay, we did it. We survived, and we got another man to survive.
And finally, Mr. Natsume.
Yes, Lord Sir.
You are now a free man once more. It is my hope that you will continue to further your education in British culture. And may you never again be brought before me.
Oh, yes, sir. Of course. On my life, I swear I'll never set foot in a courtroom again. I'm transported to tears. Transported to tears.
Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned.
Oh man, you know what that means? He's gonna be back.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Oh, he's.
Zieks is gonna kill him.
Oh no, Van Zieks is gonna kill. I hope not. He didn't deserve that.
The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber.
Oh, locum.
Wait, you mean me?
Of course. Is there another locum here?
Is there even one?
Compared to the original locum student, Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire, your name has become rather short, hasn't it?
What's wrong with using my actual name?
Oh, at last. I'm free. I'm free. Joyful, joyous, jubilant jubilation. Heady, hearty happiness, hurrah!
Oh, I'm pleased. Mr. Natsume is delighted.
Would be so hard just to say that then.
Locum, you did it! You saved me from the brink.
Well, what happened to the poor woman was in no way your fault after all. I'm just glad everyone can see that now. I love I love that pose. Like, I don't know what it's supposed to convey.
With a bit of a pout.
Right?
No, not that! Lovely, loyal locum lawyer.
Yes?
I mean, as I said before, I've just never got used to life here in Great Britain. Every time I look over my shoulder, I see foreigners. I see towering brick buildings. And from high up windows, I see them looking down at me, laughing. Look at that little hunchback.
Oh dear, I'm sure it's all in your head, Mr. Natsume.
What? Today, you locum lawyer gave my gloom the boot.
You have people to like me.
You stood firm behind that baronial bench before all those babbling British. You battled to the bitter end, laying bare the baffling truth. And when I beheld the blinding fireworks among the beams of the Bailey's roof, I bellowed, "Behold, the best barrister ever born!"
Well, that is very flattering. He looks like JoJo's dad. He does. He does. He has to say, if he was just like a tint blue, he would look exactly like him. Like a very short version of him.
This has given me a wonderful anecdote to recount to my old friends back in Japan.
And an anecdote? Is that what's to become of all my hard work?
Yeah. You'll be remembered forever
There you are, my dear fellows.
by one anecdote.
Will be remembered by one story.
I apologize for keeping you waiting. I rose late this morning. When does the trial start?
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, what a pleasure to see you.
I see I am not here a moment too soon. A disaster has been averted, I'm glad to say.
Oh,
The trial shall begin presently, Mr. Naruhodo, and I wish you the very best of luck.
It just finished, dude.
What? No. Then my haste was in vain. I could have gotten a cheeseburger.
Ah! It's you! Herlock Sholmes!
Oh, have we met, sir?
this is Mr. Natsume, the man you had arrested, Mr. Sholmes.
Ah, I see. I failed to recognize you at first. Our previous encounters have taken place in the gloom, either of your bleak lodgings or that prison cell. I simply couldn't place that curious face in the light.
Charming.
This is all your fault, Herlock Sholmes. You're the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal. I'm going to give you a piece of my mind.
My apologies, sir, but I assure you, I have placed you now. You're the fellow who abandoned that poor young lady and ran off, are you not?
He's like, I did it.
Had she been taken to hospital more urgently,
She could have just said it wasn't you.
I feel perhaps she would have regained consciousness by now.
Oh.
But it was unavoidable, I'm sure.
Yeah, if she was fine, she could have just told you.
We are human, after all. Anyone would have been shaken by such an experience.
Stopped in his tracks.
Ah, I didn't get it. I do feel very badly about how I behaved.
Well, never mind. Now then, what was it you wanted to say to me, sir?
Nothing. Nothing.
Priceless. Oh, I am sorry, really, but that was quite priceless.
Poor Soseki-san.
Still, on the bright side, you've had an extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny.
It's like, it was traumatic, not entertaining.
It was. And traumatic experience? Nah, entertainment. Free show. Thrilling.
The biggest thrill you'll have in your whole
It's
life.
the biggest thrill you'll have in your life.
Thinking you're gonna die and then getting off.
And it would seem you are not even found guilty.
There's no bright side.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Natsume?
Even after this, I'm still cursed by the spirits, and
now by the Reaper.
Oh, Lord Van Zieks.
I haven't forgotten, you know, when facing that man in that court means, even if you're found not guilty, you're still doomed.
It'll be all right, Mr. Natsume. If the Reaper appears trying to make some trouble, I will protect you.
Hiya! What? What'd you throw me for?
You're the
Am I the sandbag?
With a perfectly executed Susato takedown.
Much as I like being turned on my head, a bit of warning might be nice next time, Miss Susato.
Mr. Sato, I'm in pain. Why you do this?
So, Mr. Natsume, what do you intend to do now? You mentioned something about recounting your experiences to your friends back in Japan? Yes, I intend to return to my homeland soon.
Oh,
It has already been a year since I arrived here in Great Britain. I visited universities, libraries, bookshops. I've been honored with the tutelage of professors. I've learned so much about the wealth of literature here and the city it has shaped. I've come to realize that it's my calling to sail home and tell my fellow countrymen about it.
that's very touching, Mr. Natsume.
Or in perhaps less veiled terms,
running away from the
you
Reaper.
wish to withdraw halfway around the world to escape the terror of the Reaper's curse.
That's not it at all!
I think
Yes, it is. The more I learn of literature, the more of this strange feeling claws at my insides. I feel compelled to return to my roots and attempt to pen a work of my own.
Oh, I see. A work of literature by Soseki-san. Could be an interesting read.
And what about Mr. Sato and yourself, Mr. Naruhodo?
Sorry? What about us?
Will you return to Japan alongside your mustached compatriot?
Why would we?
A week has not yet passed since we arrived in London. Now, and only now does it feel as though we finally have found our feet.
And you are accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not?
we can't afford it. Please take us in.
We can't afford it, please take us in. That's right, but we need to find lodgings before it bankrupts us.
I've calculated we can only afford another 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted.
Well then, you could take my lodgings.
Oh, the windowless room?
Ah, but what it lacks in windows, it more than makes up for with a floor, a ceiling, and walls.
Great. And of course, I'd be happy to leave behind the accursed evil spirit.
Oh my, an evil spirit.
I bet it's the cat. The cat's the evil spirit. No, yes. It tries to suffocate you while you sleep.
It's the cat.
It's an infallible wake-up call. We'll think about it if that's all right.
Perhaps I can offer a more welcome alternative. Would you consider taking lodgings with me?
Yeah, we want that.
Really?
Well, a vacancy has conveniently presented itself. Though it is up in the attic, I might add.
Are you sure it isn't just a storage loft?
I spoke with the landlady this very morning on the matter of price, and Iris is cleaning the room as we speak.
Yay.
You must come at once. I presume you have no luggage to speak of.
We've got nothing at all.
We own nothing!
Oh, this is simply wonderful. What an honor to be invited to taking lodgings in the Great Detective Office's attic. I'm too overcome for words.
So suggesting we look elsewhere is out, then.
And it's settled. Iris will prepare a welcome dinner this evening. And you must come too, Mr. Natsume. I insist.
I don't know what to say, but thank you. And yes.
Wonderful. Then I'll go and complete the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. It shan't take long.
Somebody's happy.
I don't know if he's gonna make it.
I don't know if he's gonna make it to dinner, man.
Locum, I knew that you wouldn't let me down. I'm truly delighted to have met you here in London.
Likewise, Mr. Natsume. It's been a privilege meeting you, too. It's a shame that we're going to have to say goodbye so soon.
Well, I've come to realize that I belong in Japan. But Locum, we'll meet again one day.
Yes, I'm sure. And hopefully by then I'll be a successful lawyer.
Hopefully by then, I'll be a successful author.
Well, my dear fellow, our carriage appears to have arrived. Shall we go, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, Mr. Sholmes.
I've little doubt Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening.
I don't think he's making it to dinner. And so, with Soseki-san's innocence successfully established, we rode with Mr. Sholmes to what was to become our new home, 221 Baker Street.
But see, that still would have taken us like an hour.
Yeah, that would have been like an hour, yeah.
I think it was good.
Yeah, it was a good call, I'm gonna eat a bit of a biscuit. Give me a sec.
Got windows.
Mama. New office, yes.
Yay.
Yay, we have an office. Like, we have an office now. Thank
It's
God.
got a ladder.
A step ladder. I rather like the sound of that. And now for terrible news. Soseki's dead.
That's what we're suspecting.
We're like, there's no way he's gonna live. Also, hi, Mina.
He at least isn't gonna make it to dinner.
Me too. It's simply wonderful, isn't it?
I hope you can see this, Kasuma. It's only a small step. But I'd like to think we're getting a little closer to your dream now.
So, my dear fellows, do you like the place?
Whoa.
Oh.
His coat is
Oh, no
superstar.
coat. Oh, his hair's
His hat.
fabulous. Damn it. Mr. Sholmes, yeah, thank you so much.
Look at that vest he's on with the like diamond with the button.
I know, goddamn, why was he hiding this under that coat the whole time?
Have a nice time.
I'm at work, so watch the VOD, want to say hi. Alright, have a nice time at work. See you. See you in the future. Oh no, he's hot!
It's a delightful room, Mr. Sholmes. I simply adore it.
Good, I'm pleased to hear it. Iris and I are delighted to welcome you.
I hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. We'll eat as soon as Mr. Natsume arrives. We have a lot to celebrate. Iris, you must let me help you. All right then, Susie. You can be in charge of the salad.
Salad?
Splendid.
Hey, it's gonna be a fun dinner time, maybe.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, how does it feel to have your own office in the capital?
It's very exciting, actually. I can't help wondering what adventures await us. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Adventures? You're trapped here. You belong to me now. Those were precisely my sentiments when I first established my office at these premises. Until I discovered the dark truth about the city of London, that is. Sorry? London is a glorious place, full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity, and mirth. But the brightest of lights cast the darkest of shadows. Ah, shadows? What do you mean?
There's a lot of crime here.
Well, I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies behind London's facade already. Things are quite shit here. So once again, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, look at this gentleman.
Welcome to London.
Are we gonna go to like London B-side now? Or like London EX? True London? Of course, at the time, I had no idea of the significance of those words Mr. Sholmes so casually
Like,
spoke.
You've already seen how this court system goes and how everything just...
It does just right through the pipe, the crime pipe. It wasn't long before my turn came to lift the facade and see the true depths of the murk that lay behind it. Dun dun dun. End. Oh no. Landed in London. Awarded. Save your current progress. Yes, let's save it. We'll put it somewhere else. Overwrite the save? Yes. Dun-na-na. Okay. Bets on Soseki. Okay. What do you think the actual odds are of Soseki making it to dinner? Like,
10%.
You think 10% he's gonna make it to dinner? You know what? I'll take the opposite. I think he'll make it. I think he'll be fine.
I think whether he's alive or dead, he's not coming to dinner.
You think? Okay, so you think he's not gonna make it at all?
Yeah.
What if we're both wrong? What if his corpse makes it to dinner? Like, what if it's like Rocky Horror Picture style, where we're having dinner
And
they're
it's
like,
Soseki?
and it's like, I thought we were waiting for Mr. Soseki to be here, and then like Sholmes to be like, he's already arrived, whoosh, and then like pulls off the tablecloth, and and he's there like
I don't
meatloaf.
like Sholmes anymore if he's serving us Soseki.
Oh, Soseki steaks.
The Hound of the Baskervilles.
The unspeakable story. Also, how long has it been since we've been at this screen? Of just like...
And it's the last one.
And it's the last one. Oh my god.
I mean, there's another game in here.
There's another game in here, and we're gonna get to
This
it.
is the last.
This is the last
case
one
of this.
for this case.
The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story. Let's go.
Was this like Blaze Blue intro? Or no, this is a Soul Calibur intro.
A hound it was, but not such a hound as anyone had seen.
It's coming! Sholmes's cry pierced through
this is
the
a good
thick
opportunity
warm
to eat a
fog
snack.
around us. Wisps of vapor flowed over the pistol as I cocked it, and I waited, breathlessly, in the stillness. The silence lasted for what seemed an eternity, until, at last, it appeared. From the shadows of the cloud, an enormous beast sprang out upon us. A hound it was, but not such a hound as any mortal has ever seen. Its eyes glowed with a smoldering glare. The whole of its ox-sized body was outlined in
Damn, that
bright
sounds
flames.
sick.
Its rumbling pant and hideous howl, so terrified was I that I began to tremble with fear. Look well, Wilson, Sholmes declared, gazing upon the mystical beast.
Let me show you how to kill a god.
This is the diabolical hound of the Baskervilles.
Yo, he just grabs a shotgun and it's like, let me show you how to kill a god, Wilson. Our first 2 months in London passed by in a flash. Oh.
We won't know if he came to dinner.
We don't get to know if he made it to dinner. In that disconcerting courtroom experience, we were first thrown on the day we arrived in the country. And in Soseki-san's terrible ordeal that followed closely behind, we had emerged victorious. However, there then came an abrupt end to our opportunities to appear in court. What? Which was hardly surprising, of course, since I was nothing more than an amateur. an unknown student of law from faraway land.
Well,
So life in our little office was very quiet.
people don't
that
know
is-
who we are to hire us.
Until it was shattered one day by that fateful telegram.
We were only getting those cases because that guy was like, here's a case.
Yeah. No. See, now they're like behind the scenes trying to design an even harder case for us
They're like-
to bumble.
He beat that guy twice. We thought it was just a fluke.
We have to set him up now.
We can't actually put him against people if he's just gonna win.
We can't let him defend people. They'll win.
Yeah.
15th April, 9:13 a.m. Nintendo's legal consultancy. Knock, knock, knock. Oh, we filled this place up. Where did we get the Daruma?
I don't know, but I like him.
He's pretty great. He doesn't have a wish yet. Or he has a wish, but it's not been completed yet. That morning, I was woken by the unreserved knocking on the door by the telegram boy. But after he'd gone, Susato-san's behavior became very obviously strange. Susato-san.
Yes? Is it time to leave for court already? Let me see. What case is it today?
I don't think I'm scheduled to defend anyone at the moment, am I?
Oh, no, of course not. How silly of me.
But I think Iris said she would make us breakfast this morning. So, shall we go down to Mr. Shom's suite?
Yes. Iris makes the most delicious breakfast food.
She does, doesn't she?
And once our bellies are full, we can leave for court in fighting fit form. Let me see. What case is it today?
Here we go again. Susato, what is...
Actually, very on the ball. What's up?
You seem to not be on the ball today. Or maybe on too many balls. What was the telegram? Oh, what was the telegram about? The telegram that was delivered this morning, I mean.
Oh, a telegram? I don't know what you're talking about. There's never a telegram. Who uses telegrams? Get out of here.
Is it for us to
I don't know what you're
report?
talking about.
Susato.
Sorry, but you're not going to get away.
Sorry, but you're not gonna get away with that.
Well, I didn't think I would. Actually, don't give it a moment's thought. It's nothing. Nothing interesting. Boring, in fact. It was just a boring old telegram. Stop asking questions.
That's why you're so flustered.
That's 3 times now that she's tried and failed to convince me it was nothing. Susato, gonna ask one more time. Is the telegram important?
I promise that I'll tell you about it at some point.
Alright, okay. I understand. If you lead with that, then I'll be more understanding. I can't believe he died the next day. I suppose Soseki-san will have arrived back in Japan by now, won't he?
Yes, I should think so. He left immediately after that terrible ordeal,
So he didn't come. He left.
which would mean he should have completed the voyage already, or be just a few days away.
A fortnight ago, we had that very long telegram from him. Do you remember? Complaining of seasickness. The telegram said, "Oh God, I'm dead. I'm dying. I can't believe I'm being assassinated right now. Stop."
The sea.
At sea. Stop. Please, find my killer. Stop. By and large, it seems the voyage has been going well.
Is something wrong, Naruhodo-san?
I was just wondering, what might have become of Soseki-san had he stayed in London, that's all.
You mean, as regards Lord Van Zieks, the Reaper?
Yes. I can't help wondering if seasickness would have paled into insignificance in that case. The Reaper! Alright, let's go hit the Reaper. What is it they say? That no one who stands in the dock can be saved from the Reaper, right? Yeah, that was quite dramatic. Like the way the nightmarish trial ended on the very day we arrived in London. We still don't even really fully know what happened with the Magnus business. It just ended.
Even 2 months on, the cause of that dreadful fire is still a mystery.
But nobody's looked into it. At least Oseki-san is safely out of the country now. Presumably that means...
The curse of the Reaper can only take effect within the confines of the city of London, perhaps.
Yeah, that's the range of his stand. Even if that's the case, it's little comfort. I have a terrible sense of
You
foreboding.
just tell everybody, I will defend you and I will get you off.
I will-
You need to leave the country now.
I will defend you, but you gotta go, like,
They're like,
instantly.
why do I have to run if I'm not guilty? And you're like,
Listen, you gotta go. You need to go. I can't force you, but I strongly advise you get the fuck out.
they're like, I'm your legal advice. You trust me?
Leave the country.
If the legend of the Reaper is to be believed, it would mean he wields the sword of justice himself.
Come to think of it, I wonder what he's been up to these past 2 months. Surely not wielding that sword against more acquitted defendants.
No, I don't think so. Apparently, Lord Van Zieks hasn't appeared in courts once since our last encounter.
Oh, yo, they're straight up sending us up against him just to get us fucked over or something. Like, every single thing here is a setup. Oh?
Yes, since Soseki-san's trial, he's withdrawn from judicial service again, it seems.
Really? Just like before, when he wasn't seen at court at all for several years. So... yeah. So it's just been me who's had to face him in his recent spate of trials then. Ugh, just my luck.
I wonder if luck doesn't come into it.
Sorry? What was that?
Oh, nothing. Never mind. This might be a setup.
Do I have any presents for Susato? I don't have any presents for Susato. I cannot woo her. It's not that kind of game. Hey, a ladder! I've investigated thoroughly, but I can't... Ah, I cannot... The ladder. The ladder is not of importance. You've only been in London here for about 2 months. My desk is starting to look a little messy already.
You should tidy up once in a while.
Susato-san, I always say, making a mess is a small sacrifice to pay for being able to further your studies. And time spent tidying up is time you can't devote to the same cause.
And time spent on ridiculous arguments is time that could be better spent on some simple housework.
She wins. Ugh, but I'm supposed to be the lawyer here. Yeah, we have a wish! The Dharma doll I brought with me from home. Still with only one eye colored in. I said I'd color the other eye once I won my FERT course case here in Britain, but...
But you have won, haven't you? Twice, in fact.
Because I feel as though I'm still lacking as a lawyer. I tell you what, why don't you color the other eye in once I tell you I think I'm a proper, fully fledged lawyer?
If you insist.
Maybe I should get a Dharma doll.
What's your goal?
I don't know. Have a bigger stream. I'd have to get a number amount on it. It's spring at last, and the weather is warmer now. But I love the smell of the fire and steam rising from the kettle.
Oh, would you like some tea, Naruhodo-san?
Thank you, Susato-san, but I'm alright for now. With the green tea Susato-san makes me from time to time, and Iris's unique herbal infusions. This place is paradise for a true tea lover. Man, I love tea. It's so much tea going on here.
Green tea is such a wonderful accompaniment to British tea cakes, don't you think?
What kind of tea do you have? Well, we've got green tea, herbal tea. I've like just that whole list from Scott Pilgrim.
Sleepy time?
Sleepy time, liver disaster, strawberry raspberry. I'm pretty sure you made some of those up. Let's go for sleepy time. Mortar pestle?
No, it's for tea.
Oh, it's not a mortar pestle. That is a brush thingy. That's the brush
It's a
thingy.
tea whisk.
A tea whisk.
Yeah.
This is a tea set that Susato-san brought with her from Japan. Let's hope she hasn't noticed me slipping sugar and milk into my cup when she makes it. It's just so bitter.
Tea is a drink to be enjoyed, Naruhodo-san. You really don't have to force yourself to drink it, you know. I don't like to see you screw up your face so.
Shovel? That spade has been in here since we started renting the place.
Oh, and that's not a spade, Naruhodo-san. It's a shovel.
What the hell is a shovel? No, shovels are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It is a spade.
No, spades are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a shovel.
I don't want to dig a hole for myself, so let's leave it. I'm pretty sure that's a shovel. I think spades are usually smaller.
Yeah.
I mean, I always considered a spade just a hand-sized shovel, really. Writing? Do you have a diary? Must be the telegram. Let's see.
No, you mustn't look at that. Not under any circumstances.
Okay, I won't.
You said you'd tell us about it.
Sorry, Naruto-san, but you can be very mischievous at times.
Put the telegram away. I'm gonna look at it. Susato, I'm gonna look at it. You need to hide it from me. I'm extremely curious. Oh, little orange.
There's a bunch of onions or garlic there to keep away
Evil spirits. Vampires. We were rather lucky to find that old aquarium left behind here. The prawns are put in there doing rather well. And the anemones, too. And the anemones. And the anemones. And anemones.
It's a wonderful invention, isn't it? The sea behind glass inside your room. Another example of Great Britain's greatness.
Having to clean it out and change the water isn't so great, though, is it? I wonder, when was the aquarium invented? I wonder. You know, I've never seen inside your room there, Susato-san. Never even peeped inside.
I should think so too. A young maiden's private chamber is a place of bittersweet secrets, you know.
Whatever you say, young maiden. I think that's it for the room. I'm not seeing any more highlights. I'm glad that the game gives you, like, the check mark and stuff. Okay, yeah, alright, that's gonna be that. Let's move on out. Sholmez's suite. Let's go say hi to Sholmez. There's still so much going on in this room, but, like, also not. Sholmez's suite.
Morning, Bruno. Morning, Susie. Good morning, Iris.
Iris?
Is that Shomes playing the violin for us?
What is this music we're hearing?
I bet it's Shomes.
What is it, Bruno?
What is that terrible noise? It sounds like a cat being strangled.
It's Shomes for sure.
Yes. You noticed that, did you? Hurley isn't in the best form this morning, it seems.
No! Oh no. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Sholmes.
Good morning. A good morning to die, perhaps. Has something happened, Mr. Sholmes? You look miserable, and the way you were playing the violin before. My analytical mind is dead. Music is dead. The world is dead. I'm sad. I'm gonna go listen to some sad music. Damn this blanched existence. What?
I was gonna say, have you been off
That's
your
all it
drugs
is,
for
my
a
dear.
while?
Are you...
And you're in withdrawal.
Sholmes, do you need some opium? Do we have to go get some opium for you? I'll go find some. Will that cheer you up? That's all it is, my dear fellow. Nothing of consequence.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Well, Iris, isn't it time we ate? Some dry toast and insipid coffee for me, if it's not too much to ask. Trouble. Meow. Is he allergic to cats? Does he hate cats? Kitty, look, it's so adorable! Oh, it's Wagai!
We must have taken it from just...
Oh, it's what a guy. Good morning.
Good morning, boy.
Meow. Oh, Waga. Must be some sort of tiny door for cats to use. How did it get there? Does Sholmes hate cats?
Well then, everyone, time for breakfast. Oh, wonderful. Let me help you, Iris.
It would indeed be a fine day to die. I knew something looked different. Something's missing from Mr. Sholmes' desk. Oh, it's his drugs. Oh, he needs his drugs. What if it's actually his pipe? Let's go look at it. Look at Iris just standing there. Look how adorable she is. There's a lot going on in the background, so let's click it. Mementos of Mr. Sholmes' past cases, I think. If he'd been involved in my case, I wonder if the beefsteak from the carnival would be on display here. Man, I miss Hosonaga. I want to see him again. He was cool.
No, we're not in Japan.
I know.
He doesn't seem to be escorting
He didn't escort us. Where is Hosonaga?
He was only there to escort our bro and didn't succeed, so he got sent home.
A mystery shoe, a curious hammer, a curious hammer, some mysterious dancing men, a bust of Napoleon. What an entrancing collection.
Looks like an untidy assortment of junk to me, rather like what's on my own shelves.
Well, you really ought to learn to keep your things in order, Mr. Naruhodo.
This is clearly art.
Yeah, we're a mess and this is art. No favoritism there at all. No, guess none, I guess. What about this wall? The fire's burning comfortably in the grate again today. It's a very different feeling to a Japanese hibachi somehow.
Oh, look! A photographic print of a lady displayed on the mantelpiece. Could it be? Yes, it must be. It's the woman.
Adler?
Oh, how exciting.
Is that supposed to mean something to me? The woman! Dun-dun-dun! Is it Adler? Irene Adler?
Whoa.
There's a lot going on here. Okay.
Like cute.
There's I enjoy the contrast here. We've got books and stuff, and then look at this chonky typewriter. Like, it looks like you need to use your whole fist to hit a single key on it.
It's a children's typewriter.
A children's typewriter.
Obviously, it's bigger and rounder. That's what makes it for children.
Come to think of it, I haven't seen Iris doing much writing recently. There's paper already set up in the typewriter. Look, as if she's about to start.
Maybe it has no work.
Oh, maybe, yeah, he's
so
got no
he's
work.
depressed.
Reminds me, when I mentioned that Iris was in the process of writing a full-fledged novel, Mr. Natsume was most impressed.
Yes, Mr. Natsume.
And that's what I'll be doing too once I'm back in Japan. He said through his tightly clenched fists and teeth.
Maybe they're not getting work because they're putting us up.
Iris's beautiful tea set is there on the table as usual. A cup of one of her special herbal blends always helps me relax when I'm feeling the strain.
The English pastime of tea has many similarities with our own tea ceremony customs, don't you think? It's the idea of hospitality behind it. That's the essence of tea.
That's a charming little white shelf, full of charming little bottles too. The contents of them aren't quite so charming, it seems.
Science is the future, Mr. Naruhodo. You can't deny it. I'm saving my money so I can buy some chemistry apparatus as well.
Law, chemistry, takedown throws. What diverse skills you boast, Miss Susato.
As useful as they are, I'm not sure that my throwing skills are worthy of inclusion in that list.
You've got pretty good throwing skills.
Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah, those are pretty solid throwing skills. Math! This is where Iris notes down ideas, isn't it? Let's see. What does it say today? Ah, the Boscombe Valley Mystery. Of course.
Oh, how intriguing. It must be the title of Iris's latest work. Oh my, I wonder what fantastic tale awaits us.
Susato-san looks like an angel, but I bet she's dreaming of the most unsavory crime you could imagine. No.
I think we should look at Sean's side. His best character.
I don't want to make him cry, though. Let's talk with Iris first. She seems like she might be in higher spirits. Wagahai!
She's gonna talk about the kitty.
Mr. Natsume's cat seems to have settled into his new home, then.
Oh yes, and I've become very attached to little Waggy.
It appears previous owners completely forgotten to him. Cats aren't feeling creatures. The muse is empty as the hearts of the muses. Sholmes, did a cat break up with you?
If Mr. Natsume had no intention of taking Waggy back to Japan, I wonder why he kept him in the first place.
He thought he was an evil spirit.
I expect he would have taken him if he could, but pets are strictly forbidden aboard steamships in our experience.
And for good reason. Terrible things can happen if the rules of passage are not obeyed. Well, I don't mind, because Waggy's adorable.
Ah, he is adorable. Yes, he really is. Oh, yeah. What about the door? I don't remember seeing that tiny thing in the main door before. Where'd that come from?
Installed it for him.
Oh, you noticed? You are observant, Runo. Look, I used this. Oh, it's my latest invention.
Wait, is that a device that, like, makes a
cat
cat door? Like a fucking, like a hole punch? Like, you just, like, go up to any door, just like, cha-chunk, and just cat door installed.
Hinges and everything.
Yeah, that's kind of sick, actually. What is that?
I call it the cat flapper-mat. Gosh, a machine for making doors just for cats.
It does just make that.
That's right. It can make a cat flap for a little furry friend like Waggy in seconds. And it can do it in any door at all, no matter what it's made of. It's very powerful, you see.
Wouldn't it have been quicker just to make the cat flap rather than making a machine to make the cat flap?
Well, yes, maybe. How can I make cat flaps anywhere I like? Oh, but now I can make cat flaps anywhere I like.
What if somebody steals that and makes
Oh no. Crime cat flaps? Curses.
just like her a smoke bomb?
I know, your smoke bomb was used for crime. What about this one, Iris?
Oh, I think it's wonderful. You must make one first in the door of the office upstairs, Iris.
She really knows how to come up with unconventional inventions, this girl. That's all she got for us. That's all all she got for us is the cat. All right,
There's no work on his
There's nothing on his desk. It is completely clear. Isn't that an enormous machine usually on it? Wait, what enormous machine?
We can never hope to understand what goes on in the great detective's mind, Mr. Naruhodo. Why, next time we're invited, we may find he's vacated the entire suite.
Oh no!
That's scarily plausible, actually.
Just up and leave us, and then we'll be like, what?
Just so you know, Mr. Naruhodo, these are your new roommates. They own the building and can evict you at any time, so watch out.
Let's check this shelf.
There's a VR.
There is a VR on his wall. Or a VK. I think it's a VR, actually. There's all sorts of things on these shelves. Chemistry apparatus, books, papers, and lots of things I've never seen before. It's all heaped up so high, I can't help feeling that the whole lot is going to topple at any moment.
Oh, it's such a charmingly untidy collection of paraphernalia, isn't it?
It just looks messy to me, like my desk.
But you, Mr. Naruhodo, must learn to tidy up after yourself.
No favoritism there, then.
Is a genius.
He is a big genius. He's allowed to do that. Let's look at the VK. VR. The letters V and R inscribed on the wall. In bullet holes. Isn't it the initials of the Queen or something?
It's so delightful to see it in the flesh, having read about it in stories. It's so inspiring. I fired 100 arrows into my own wall at home to make the character of Su for Susato, you know.
Super? Well, perhaps there are some things a great detective does that you don't need to copy. Yeah, you don't need to shoot bullet holes into your wall. She shot arrow holes. Arrow's kind of like a bullet, just slower and made of wood.
Thing that should be.
Alright, let's talk to Sholmes. Oh, wait. No, I didn't want to talk to nothing. Let's talk to Sholmes. Wanting to die. You seem to be very unhappy this morning, Mr. Sholmes. What's happened?
It used to be the case that in my hands is violence sung like the dawn chorus. Its maleficent tones would make the flowers bloom.
It would.
But now, the muses are unamused with me. The goddesses of music have thrown me over.
Oh no, he had a bad drink.
Oh, he had a bad drink of poetry.
Do you remember what that stuff's called?
No, I don't remember what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes?
Which was that Norse mythology or Greek mythology? I think that was Norse mythology. Yeah, where they have the talent juice and then they have the talent shit juice. Which both came from the same bird, just different ends. Yeah, reading Norse mythology, it's a fun time.
For hours I have bowed, for years even. Through the night I have endeavored to no avail. That sound, my tone, is lost. That brilliant, clear, unwavering tone. Gone forever! No more recitals of unbridled emotion.
Well, you haven't been practicing much lately, have you, Hurley?
Don't worry, I'm sure it'll come back to you in time.
Heed my words, Mr. Naruhodo. The goddesses of the arts are fickle. One day they bestow genius on a man, and next they unmercifully withdraw it.
Oh, dear.
Ah, why is this happening to me? If they take the turn I have for the violin for me, what is left for pity's sake? What is left?
You can't do
You-
anything.
you can
except
still-
the violin.
you-
I thought you solved crimes.
Sholmes, it seems like you've had a lot going on, you know, not just the violin thing. You should be fine. Deduction, perhaps? Isn't that what you're known for? Missing machine.
Mr. Sholmes, I don't like to pry, but your desk looks rather empty today.
Ah, well done, Miss Osato. Your observational skills do you credit.
Oh, no, Mr. Sholmes. They pale in significance when compared to yours.
You'd struggle not to notice, wouldn't you?
You mean Hurley's great analytoscope? That's at Winterbank's now.
Sorry? It's at a windy bank?
No, Winterbank's, the pawnbrokery.
Pawn?
What?
Pawned it off. He hasn't had work. He's selling
You mean you
stuff.
pawned that enormous machine of yours?
It has some considerable value, you see. Quite undeservingly.
But isn't it a very important machine for your work? I do wish you had consulted us if your situation had become so desperate. I should have gladly passed what little income I have to you.
Dear madam, things are far from desperate.
But the pawnbroker has your wonderful machine. How can it be anything but desperate?
Making use of a pawnbroker is quite ordinary here in London, I assure you.
It is. Doesn't sound ordinary at all.
Your drug habits taken all of your money.
Have your drug habits taken all of your money? Did you need opium money? Is that why?
It would seem that neither of you fully understand how pawnbroking works.
You can buy it back.
Oh, what's to understand exactly? How pawnbroking? Enlighten me, please. I'd like to know. What do you mean when you said we didn't fully understand how pawnbroking works?
To the people of London, pawnbrokeries are akin to banks.
They hold your stuff.
Banks?
And when you have money, you get your stuff back.
On Mondays, merchants relinquish their finest jackets and trappings to the pawnbroker of choice. With the money they receive in return, they are able to trade happily through the week.
And then on Saturdays, they go to recover their things using the money they've earned. I had no idea. This has been a fascinating lesson for us.
It's sort of like reverse scalping. You give your shit out and then you buy it back later.
Everyone does it, you see, especially people in London.
And should they have money to spare, they would purchase another fine jacket.
Did you also lose your jacket? Is that why you didn't have a jacket?
And your hat?
Oh, not
To wear, obviously, but to pawn should the need arise.
Oh, how ingenious. So whenever we have something that's getting in the way, we leave it at Winterbank's, you say?
A pawnbrokery can be thought of as an extremely secure vault.
I would have thought that even pawnbrokers are different here in Great Britain.
Of course, you have to watch Hurley with it. Sometimes he pawns things he really shouldn't. Don't you, Hurley?
What does it matter? The world is dead to me now.
What did you pawn? Was it your pipe? it was the drugs.
Meow. Oh, what was that?
Wagahai? Oh god, he's fucking the place up.
Knocked over all of Iris's dishes.
What was that?
Oh no! Wagahai's tangled up in your violin. I think he thinks it's a toy.
No. What's he doing to it?
Oh dear, Mr. Shom's precious violin.
Why should I care?
What?
I can't play it.
Shouldn't be surprised. If the cat is a more accomplished musician than me, and than I now.
Bro.
Mr. Shom's really is in poor spirits, isn't he?
Yup.
Well, anyway, I'll put it back where it lives, shall I, Hurley?
Out of the cat's reach, if possible. Maybe we should assess the damage. There's nothing. Okay, I guess the violin's gonna be somewhere now. Yeah, there it is. Let's talk to it. So this is the violin, is it?
It's a Stradivarius, one of the finest violins in the world, made by the renowned Italian luthier Antonio Stradivari. His legacy lives on till today.
Oh, I see. It doesn't look anything special to me. Oh, the untrained eye. Poor Ryunosuke has no eye for quality. Can't tell.
I happened upon it covered in dust, languishing in a pawn shop down a nondescript back alley. Broker had no idea of its value, so I was able to purchase it for a mere 55 shillings.
How honorable of you.
And until today, it's been my faithful companion in every great Paganini-inspired performance I've made. I ask you, is there reason to live in a world devoid of music? To tolerate this blanched existence? No! There is none!
Mr. Shomes?
What, dear madam? What? My thoughts are preoccupied with fancies of release from this dull routine.
Well, it's about the violin. It looks very different to normal, don't you think?
Is there a gigantic fucking hole in the side there?
Huh?
What do you...
What do you mean, Mr. Sato?
Oh, Susie's right.
You just mean that because that's a rest for your.
The tone of wood is completely different. And that's not all. I'm sure there was no crack here before.
Yeah, up the F-hole.
Oh, you never want to crack in your F-hole. That's a problem. You should see a doctor if you have that. It's not even the right wait, that's not even the right size, is it?
What's this? It's not a violin at all. It's a drum.
It's not your musician skills that have failed. It's that your
It's
violin
your
is
violin.
completely effed.
Your violin got fucked.
It's not even the same violin.
I'm sorry to have to tell you this, Mr. Shomes, but that instrument isn't a violin at all.
And what?
I believe it's an entirely different instrument called a viola.
What?
Medium-sized one.
What? What?
That animation's the greatest.
Oh, Mr. Shomes, are you all right?
You're right. You're quite right. This isn't my faithful Stradivarius. So what? Pray, is this piece of stringed flotsam?
Not your faithful performing partner, then.
I see what must have happened.
Oh, did you pawn it?
And then you bought a different thing back.
This is just a simple mix-up.
Sounds like Iris might be able to tell us exactly what's happened if we ask her. Oh no, someone else has got your violin. Oh shit, bro. Mix up.
Shouldn't pawn things every week.
What did you mean by mix up, Iris?
Well, you see, this violin, this viola, I mean, was at Winterbanks until last week. Oh, the pawnbrokers broke us?
Not Mr. Shome's beloved musical partner.
There is a proverb from the East with which you are no doubt familiar, my dear fellows. Always let a beloved child travel.
Yes, indeed.
So you sent your beloved violin to the pawnbrokers in the hope that it would experience personal growth?
Oh, what a wonderful idea.
I don't think that works.
Last week I pawned my great analytoscope in order to release my precious instrument. But it would appear that Mr. Winterbank mistakenly furnished me with this tawdry fiddle instead. But my ears cannot be deceived by the hollow timbre of this piece of timber.
No, but your every sense was deceived by the fact that it just had strings.
Pshaw! A fine state of affairs this is. And why I always say, Mr. Naruhodo, never trust a pawnbroker. They will try to fiddle you every time. Never use them. The pawnbroking system is useless.
But earlier you told us you could think of a pawnbroker as an extremely secure vault.
Come, Mr. Naruhodo. Dilly-dallying will get you nowhere.
Sorry?
Crunching your toast with that vacant aspect. Fressing your coffee so obtusely. Are you not a little embarrassed by your own conduct, considering the urgency with which we are faced?
We must visit Mr. Winterbank's brokery at once. That's right, isn't it, Mr. Sholmes?
Precisely, Mr. Sato, without a moment's delay.
But I haven't finished my bacon and eggs.
My dear fellow, surely you do not still intend to crunch your bacon with an increasingly vacant aspect, to fress your egg ever more obtusely.
All right.
How could you eat when my baby is gone?
How could you eat while my baby is gone?
Don't worry, Bruno. I'll be happy to heat it up for you again later.
Oh, thank you, Iris. As it happens, I am rather curious to see what a British pawnbroker looked like. All right, well, I guess we're going off to the pawn shop. A new location's been added. Oh, I can go to Baker Street, or let's go to the Winterbanks.
A British pawnbroker shop. How fascinating.
"15th April, Winterbanks Pawnbrokery." I like that every building we've been in just has a skull chilling somewhere. So this is a British pawnbrokery.
Oh my, there's all sorts of tools and contraptions here that I've never laid eyes on before.
Ah, Susato-san, and that spark of wonder in your eyes. You can't wait to scour the shelves, can you? You know, this reminds me of the feeling of, you ever go to those shops that's like, they sell random, like, totem pole looking things, and there's always a statue of like a dude with his dong out or something, and like dream catchers, like one of those stores. Oh yeah, just the dude with the dong out, yep. You've never seen a wooden figure carved as a dude with his dong out? That's like the #1 item you see in these kinds of stores that I'm thinking of. Yeah, or the just the naked lady figurines. You'll see things like maybe like a drum or like a chair with like a handmade chair in there somewhere. One of those weird stores. I wouldn't even know what to call it. And if it's in the city, they also have a bunch of Canada merchandise for some reason. Rumbling Grannies? What? There's a store called Rumbling Grannies? Like, I'm not making that name up. That's the name of the place. Okay. CaptnmcD is telling me there's a place called Rumbling Grannies, and I'm excited. It sounds like a place where old ladies gather to fight. Okay. Oh, okay. Cottage Country Store up... Okay, gotcha. I get the impression you enjoy places like this.
Oh yes, I don't know why, but seeing such a lot of things I don't understand is a real thrill for me.
I like that. That's a good quote there.
My dear fellows, let us not forget why we are here.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes.
We are calling on matters of business, not pleasure.
And clearly Mr. Show means business too, judging from the spark of fury in his eyes.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, sir. Welcome back. Did you hear that brazen welcome?
Well, yes, we are potential customers after all.
We are disgruntled customers, Mr. Naruhodo, and it's time to inform Mr. Winterbank of our ire. Come, The fight is afoot.
Oh, holy mutton chops. This guy's got a powerful hairstyle. But before we talk to him, let's look around. Let's see what we got. We got some clocks.
What are you doing, my dear fellows? We are not here to browse for interesting curios. We have come to teach this broker a lesson.
Oh, but there are just so many fascinating items.
Looks as though we'll have to talk to Mr. Winterbank first before you can explore in here, Mr. Sato. Aw, no looking around. Alright, we gotta talk. Hey, dude, about a violin.
Naturally, you will recall this, which I retrieved from you some days ago. Yes. This second-rate fiddle is not my faithful instrument, Mr. Winterbank. The color of the wood is different. It has holes in it. It's not even the same size.
A wonderful summary of our observations, Mr. Sholmes.
I'm so very sorry, sir. How utterly unforgivable of me. An inexcusable mistake for a pawnbroker. There is only one way to make amends.
Oh, he just oh shit, what the fuck? Oh my god! What the fuck?
I shall have to take my own life.
He ran over to the shelf and grabbed a gun. And like there was a whole animation for it and everything. Captain McGee's lying down right now. I have to give her descriptive audio. Yeah, no, he was like, I have only one way to repay it, and he turns around, just hoofs it.
I shall have to take my own life.
Sholmes offers a blank stare.
I don't think that will be necessary, do you? If I may just say one thing before I pop off.
Yes?
It was you, sir, Mr. Sholmes, who took it upon himself to remove the item the other day, I believe.
Sorry?
As I recall, I entered the storeroom to fetch a violin when I heard, here it is.
You did?
And when I turned to controvert you, you had taken the viola and left, sir. However, there can be no doubt that the blame lies firmly at my own door for allowing you to leave. So I shall not grumble or grouse any longer. May this guilt die with me!
No, stop, my dear fellow, the fault is mine! Okay, he puts the gun down. You fucked up, I will kill myself for it. Oh my god. He went, like, he's like, oh, I fucked up. And first thought is not amend the situation. It's like, oh, I fucked up. Better kill myself. Jesus.
Oh. It would appear the fight is over.
I do humbly apologize, Mr. Winterbank. Evidently, my questionable disposition precipitated this tragedy. Well, you wouldn't be Mr. Herlock Sholmes without that. Questionable disposition now, would you? Ha ha ha! I do believe you may be right, sir. Ha 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 ha!
It's either laugh or cry, I suppose.
You are, it must be said, one of my more challenging customers. I need to remind you of the peculiar collection of items you've brought through my door in the past.
Oh? Peculiar items?
In the extreme, ma'am. For example, the unpublished manuscript of an Eponnius work, the novels of Herlock Sholmes or some such.
Oh my, a new full-fledged novel? An unpublished? A story I've yet to read, you mean?
Oh, forgive me!
Wait, before you... No gun, stop gun, stop.
You must tell me more.
Why is this man so ready?
I must know more. Tell me everything.
I need to show you the animation, by the way, for it, because it's quite dramatic. Like, for when he runs for it.
Tell me everything.
Wow, Sato-san is really fired up now.
Is there really an unpublished story under this very roof?
Well, one day the gentleman here brought in an old metal chest, you see. I should like to entrust this to your care for a while, Mr. Winterbank. Oh, For a chest like that, 1 shilling, sir, not a farthing more.
It houses something of very great value indeed. The latest manuscript, recounting the adventures of one Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
I beg your pardon? A manuscript? You wish to deposit a manuscript?
Indeed I do, for I am confident it will be quite safe here.
And that was that. As such, Mr. Sholmes' latest tale of otherworldly mystery lies dormant in my storeroom.
Mr. Sholmes, is that really true? Do I sense that someone doesn't want to talk about this?
I continue to pay your fee, do I not? Then kindly continue to store my belongings securely.
Of course, sir, of course. They're safe and sound with me, I assure you, on my life.
This is all very strange. Pawnbrokery. I wonder, could I ask you something?
Oh, gentleman from the east, I see. Yes, that sable suit. I suppose I could offer you 6 pence for it. Without wishing to offend, the tone is somewhat dull.
Sorry?
But for your splendid attire, ma'am, 5 guineas, no less. The colors are exquisite, the design exotic. Eastern artistry at its finest, may I say.
Oh my, 5 guineas, you say? How interesting.
Why do I feel as though I've suffered some sort of defeat here? His clothes are worth nothing. Yeah, you're just in a school uniform. She's got a kimono on. Actually, I was hoping to ask you about your business. I've heard it said that pawnbrokeries are used rather like banks here in London.
Yes, sir, indeed. Many of my customers utilize the establishment as you describe. I appraise their items and offer them a proportionate loan of 2 months of secure stowage. If in that time they repay the original sum to me plus the agreed interest, their items are happily returned.
But what happens if they don't pay you the money?
Then the items are offered for sale in my shop, as you can see on the shelf behind me.
So you never sell items before the 2 months has passed, then?
That's right, ma'am, that's right. Which means some considerable responsibility rests on my shoulders. Should a customer's precious belongings be lost, recompense is for me to end it all.
The very idea, Mr. Winterbank, is an absurdity. One should never talk of one's demise so casually.
Yes, says the man saying it was all a good day to die only this morning.
And let us not forget that I have already helped you take measures to ensure such a tragedy never occurs.
Oh, what sort of measures?
I engineered a simple device, which Mr. Winterbank has installed here in his shop. I call it the Red-Handed Recorder. Is that not so, Mr. Winterbank?
Oh,
What was that deep sigh about? Red-handed recorder. What is it? What on earth is a red-handed recorder?
Use your eyes, my dear fellow. There are 2 just below the ceiling.
I can see what appears to be a camera attached to some sort of timing device.
Very astute. It is indeed a camera furnished with some 100 pieces of celluloid film. And every 30 minutes precisely, the camera automatically records the appearance of the shop.
Oh, like early security system. That's pretty neat. Oh, a crime is gonna happen in the shop for sure.
here, I have an example I can show you.
Ah yes, a print from the camera is set to record the activity at the shop counter. I developed a special type of film so sensitive, it produces a crystal clear image, even in darkness.
Really? That's extraordinary.
Yes, you can clearly see the counter and the door behind it. Look.
So you see, were someone to enter the premises with ill intent, his identity would be summarily exposed. That is, unless he left within 29 minutes of entering the shop right after a photo was taken.
But Did you not say the photographic print?
Yeah, there we go. Okay, Susato's gonna say what I made up.
Taken at 30-minute intervals?
Indeed, as you say, my dear madam.
Then what if the incident were to occur in between times?
One could only say that would be a cruel twist of fate. I must confess, your devices have been giving me some cause for distress as of late. I beg your pardon, Mr. Winterbank. Surely they are anything but distressing. Reassuring is the word. It's the cost of the film, sir. You most graciously placed not one, but 2 cameras in my shop after all. Which means I must pay for nigh on 100 utterly useless prints every single day. I'm afraid the cost of the film will break me before I'm very much older. Nevertheless, a small price to pay to ensure the safety of my preferred pawnbrokery, no? My dear fellows, we verge on an age where safety and security come at a price. Oh, heaven help us. Oh, gotta towel myself off. Now then, Mr. Sholmes, allow me to return your precious violin. Ah, the very thing. Thank you, Mr. Winterbank. Perhaps this might mark the end of the peculiar items you try to pop. Because if anything were to happen to one of them, this would be the only answer.
I really think you ought to stop waving that gun around. Someone could get hurt.
Fear not.
Sorry?
I've only loaded a single bullet, so no one but myself could possibly be harmed.
That's not really what I meant.
Good.
Someone's gonna get shot in here. He only keeps 1 bullet in the gun. Oh. Yeah, he only ever left 1 bullet in the gun.
But any criminal could come in and load an additional amount of bullets, could he not?
I could see the case forming already. Oh, it's a suicide, and there are 2 bullets in his head.
A good day.
Good day to you then, Mr. Winterbank.
It's been a pleasure as always, Mr. Sholmes.
Oh, that guy's dead. But not by his own hand. There's gonna be like 2 bullet holes in him, and you're gonna be like, that's not a suicide.
Mr. Naruhodo. Now we can explore at last.
We can look at the shop. We can look at the stuff. Let's look at the stuff. Clocks.
Look at this. Look at this lovely big shiny box bee.
That, my dear madam, is a music box. Surely you have such things in your own country.
Oh my, yes, but I've certainly never seen one so large before.
Shall we listen a while?
Oh. Ooh.
Ah, what sublime sound. It's like the music of angels.
I've never heard anything like it before in my life.
This particular specimen is of the larger variety, commonly found in public houses and restaurants. There's a metal disc inside on which the notes to be played are recorded. Simply by replacing the disc with another, any music you care to imagine can be played.
If 5 Steel Samurai theme was played. Yo, imagine the predecessor to Steel Samurai. Oh god, it's been so long I can't even remember what it sounds like. But I'm sure if someone played it, I'd be like, oh, it's the Steel Samurai theme. I could identify it immediately.
Well, simply a delightful machine.
Indeed, though their popularity has waned recently with the development of the gramophone, of course.
Ah, science and technology advance at such an overwhelming pace.
Ah, cool. Music box. What do we got here?
What an assortment of things there are on these shelves here. Crockery, footwear, clocks and watches. Almost anything you care to imagine.
And those are forfeited items offered for sale by the pawnbroker.
What does that really mean, though?
When you pawn or colloquially pop an item, the broker loans you money against its worth. He stores the item for an agreed period of time, after which the loan must be repaid. If not, he is free to display it in his shop for sale at a price of his choosing.
Oh, yes. Now you've explained it. I'm noticing little price tags on everything.
Of course, simply by paying the agreed interest on the loan, one can extend the period of safekeeping. So you may pawn that black garb of yours without fear, my dear fellow.
My treasured university uniform? Never. It embodies my student spirit. all 2 cents of it. What's this?
Now, what do you suppose this rather enormous machine does?
It seems to have 2 little windows for looking through.
Allow me to enlighten you, my dear fellows. What you are looking at is a stereoscope.
A stereoscope? Fascinating.
It is aptly named, I assure you. Look through the eyepieces and see for yourself.
Oh, I should be delighted to. Excuse me a moment while I just have a look.
And just before you do, there's something I should point out. My dear fellows, in order to see the image properly, stereoscopically as it were, you'll need to be cross-eyed. However, if that is beyond you, it is of little consequence today.
All right then, I'm going to try it.
Do we get like a view? We get to see Susato use this machine.
Mr. Naruhodo, you must see at once.
Oh, all right then. Okay. I need to be cross-eyed, like I'm trying to look at my own nose? Let's see. Am I gonna have to... Oh, okay, so it's one of those things where if you kind of look at it cross-eyed, you'll get a faux 3D image. I'm gonna see if I can... Yeah, it's kind of like a magic eye. This is gonna be a little tough because I'm on a computer setup. I'm gonna give this a second. So if I go quiet, it's because I'm trying to see this. You know, you could give this a shot too. You basically have to cross your eyes until the images overlay each other. Like, it's weird. It's like you have to focus on an imaginary spot kind of in the screen. You like real... Oh man, okay. It might not work on a screen of this size for me because I'm on... Maybe if I go further away I can see it? I've got it. Oh god, I probably look like a huge dingus right now. It's a good thing I don't have a webcam. But like... Okay, yeah. I can't do that, I just unfocus my eyes. Yeah, if like, it's one of those things where like, if you can get it, it's kind of neat. But with this photo, it's a little blurry. It could give you a headache if you look at it for too long. It's a neat effect in concept, but it does take practice to see. You can't do that. I can just unfocus my eyes. Yeah, it's funky, but it's a neat effect. I know the 3DS, the Nintendo 3DS, used a similar kind of trick to achieve its 3D, which was something really neat. I would actually bust out my 3DS again for some Monster Hunter 4U, just because the 3D effect on it is actually really solid. I'm kind of bummed that technology isn't going to really come back, but you know, it means that I can always bust out that old bit of tech if there's something I want to see and boot up the 3D again. Oh wait, no, I only have a 2DS. Damn it. It's a shame. But if you can find the Nintendo 3DS, it uses that kind of concept. I don't believe it. It's just a photographic print, but it seems like you could reach out and touch it.
Yes, the sense of depth is startling, is it not? Stereoscopes are one of London's many fads. They're often found in little stalls in the park. People queue for hours to see them.
People would queue for hours to see a stereoscopic image? I mean, I guess if it's like magic to you, right, in the day, that's what it would have been.
Why are people meddling with such black magic?
Susato's like, whoa, what the fuck is this shit?
It's no magic, my dear madam. It's, well, far too complicated to explain at present. We shall save this lesson for another day.
Aww.
Oh.
Aww. Alright, what do we got here? Oh, my eyes are actually a little sore from that.
Look at this. Whatever could it be used for?
I've no idea.
Ah. And there's a small catch here. Just look.
We're going to open it, aren't we? Puzzle box!
Oh my, that's amazing. It has some sort of spring-loaded mechanism.
Which we'll never manage to put back to the way it was before.
What are you two doing?
What, us? Nothing? No, nothing at all. Whatever this device is, it seems to have a pair of little windows to look through. Feels as though I've seen something rather similar to this elsewhere. It's a mini stereoscope thing? Oh god, imagine that we're gonna have a... Oh, what if we have to use a stereoscope photo? And then we have to 3Dify it. What day is it today? That's not a calendar you could easily miss, is it? 15th of April, today's the date. Oh man, the crime is for sure happening in here.
Yes, that's not for sale, I must point out. It's an Eastern-style page-a-day calendar. Every night at midnight, I tear off the front page to reveal the following day's date.
You know what's gonna happen? Someone's gonna tear off the date, and it's gonna show the wrong date.
The perfect calendar for a tearaway fellow such as yourself, Mr. Winterbank.
Who was it who walked out of here with the wrong violin before?
Well, when the agreed storage period is passed without repayment, articles are forfeited, you see. So I have to keep a close eye on the date. It's something of a pawnbroker's obsession, you might say.
Yes, I can see you're very dedicated to your job.
Oh, what if you're like,
What? Only tuppence for it? I ain't fair and you know it. The article's barely worth a penny, miss. I cannot offer more.
whoa, what? Drama? Sounds like there's an argument brewing over by the counter.
Come on, that can't be right. You have proper bushes at it. I've seen all I need to see, young girl.
Oh, it's the thief girl again. She's back. Wait, don't we know? I'm sure I recognize her.
Oh yes, it's the young lady from Mr. McGilded's trial 2 months ago.
Our name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. She's a chancer. Earns her crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket.
Oh, Gina.
Go on, Bennett, you lot!
Oh, she's busting out the gun.
Hello, Miss Lestrade. I hope you've been well. What? You remember me then? You remember me then, do ya?
Well, I remember being completely surrounded by smoke. That's for sure.
So, what are you doing in here? In town now, like the rest of us. Nothing to eat. Come to pop that black weasel. Sorry, coat, have ya?
What is it about this black uniform that makes everyone comment on it?
Good day, unless I'm much mistaken. You would be the young pickpocket who stole our experimental smoke grenade launcher.
Mr. Sholmes.
So, you have something of value to pawn, do you? Allow me to see the article and I shall negotiate with Mr. Winterbank on your behalf.
Pull the other one. I don't need no help from some stuck-up D. Get on my business. Go on, or I'll make trouble for you.
As you wish, Miss Lestrade. I will happily remove myself from your presence.
Sholmes phases out of existence. He's really done it. He's gone.
I'm sorry, but as I said, there really is no room for negotiation here.
What is this thing he has in his hand? Some kind of metal disc? Oh, it's a music disc. It's straight up. It's a music disc for the CD player over there.
And you all, go on. Leave me alone. Oh, Miss Lestrade, just pretend we aren't here. We shan't be offended in the slightest.
So Sato-san can really stand her ground when she wants to. Whatever. Oh, can we talk with her? Hey, what's up? What's going on? How are you doing, girl? It's been a while. Somehow, I don't really think you were the sort of person who'd use a pawnbroker, Miss Lestrade.
Yeah, well, I am, alright? I'm a Londoner, just like everyone else. That a problem, is it?
No, not at all. It's just that, well...
Oh, I get it. I know what you're thinking. That thing probably don't even belong to her. Probably got on the dive, didn't she? Yeah, I could see it written all over your Chevy Chase.
Well, I might have been thinking something along those lines.
You're not going to deny it, Mr. Naruhodo?
Alright then, I'm just gonna come out and ask you straight. Do you pawn things that you steal from other people?
Well, I don't know how best to answer that, really. Suppose, sometimes. You're not going to deny it either, Miss Lestrade. Not this time, alright? I swear. This thing belongs to me.
The disc that Mr. Windibank is holding. Perhaps we should see what he has to say about all this. Alright, let's check his perspective. Windibank. Wow. Wait, actually, there's more to look at still around here. Oh, look at Mr. Windibank, watching diligently over shop. There's still so many things I'm curious about.
I don't believe this is the time for browsing, Mr. Naruhodo.
Should probably see whether that argument's been resolved yet, I suppose. Okay, I have to engage with Windibank. Miss Lestrade's disc.
Mr. Windibank, what exactly is this metal disc that Miss Lestrade has brought in? It seems to have hundreds of tiny little bumps on its surface.
Ah, this is a music disc, you see, for use inside a music box.
In the music box?
What? You don't even know what a music box is? You used to not ain't too savvy, eh?
I know what a music box is. I've just never seen one of those discs before.
The small protrusions on the metal disc encode the tune to be played on the music box. You simply insert the disc and set the machine going, and beautiful music plays.
It's so incredible. Tell us, what tune is on this disc?
Well, I'm afraid I couldn't tell you that. There's so many different types of music box, you see. British-made, German, Swiss. I have no way of knowing which particular machine this disc was made for.
Ah, I see.
And that's it in a nutshell. I wouldn't have any customers for an item like this, even if the young lady forfeited it. Really, I'm already offering more than I should at a penny.
That's a packet of lies. You told me, did. You said it was, well...
He who...
And never you mind. It just ain't right, it's all. The disc was good money, I know it is.
Well then, you'll have to try your luck at another pawnbroker's, won't you?
Ah.
What do you know about Gina Lestrade, buddy?
She's been in before, of course. This little tatterdemalion.
I see.
And brought some dubious article over with her every single time, I might add.
Dubious? What are you trying to say? I'm an honest customer, May.
So, there's something dubious about the disc she brought in today?
Well, if only it were that simple.
Sorry? What do you mean?
What she actually brought in was a storage ticket.
Ah, a storage ticket, so... Miss Lestrade has actually come to redeem an article from you today, is that right? Yeah, that's right. A girl like me has a lot of stuff that needs storing.
Okay, yes, that's definitely dubious.
The article in question would have been forfeited at midnight tonight. But as she gave me the ticket for it and repaid both the loan and the interest, I was obliged to return the article to her.
Well, what was the article? Do tell us, Mr. Windibank.
The little scamp is wearing it, ma'am.
Is it the coat?
It's the overcoat that she redeemed.
Oh.
What? What's wrong with that? It fits, don't it? I mean, it's mine, so of course it does. So, about the disc then? How does that come into all this?
Ah, the disc is something else. A new article to pawn if the girl and I can agree a price.
New article to pawn. I'm confused. I thought you said Miss Lestrade brought in a storage ticket today.
It's really quite simple. Yes, the child brought me a storage ticket and the money owed on it, as you say.
For this heavy black coat, which you returned to her care, as I had understood it.
That's right. Yes, and rather unsurprisingly, as soon as the little ragamuffin put the thing on, she went rifling through the pockets.
Oh, you mean...
What? Don't you know it's rude to stare at a lady? Ah, I see. So it came from the pocket of the overcoat, did it?
So she took this jacket and she's trying to sell the things in the jacket immediately. Come on, Gina.
If you mean this disc, then yes, exactly, ma'am.
And she immediately tried to pawn it.
For quite a high price as well. This is all rather suspicious, I think. Gina, did you steal the ticket?
Give it up. I'm just trying to pawn something like everyone else would. Miss Lestrade, if I may ask who deposited the overcoat here in the first place? Well, me.
It doesn't really appear to be your size.
Me old man. It's me old man's, ain't it?
Is it?
Miss Lestrade, why would you say ain't it?
Yes, this is definitely all rather suspicious. Gina, you're pretty sus right now, I gotta say. Out of my way, please, says a generic voice. Whoa, who's this guy? Who's this picture postcard English gentleman? This guy looks interesting. Oh, it's Dio. Oh. Oh, this man is too slick.
Good day to you, ladies, gentlemen.
What's your problem, eh?
There is no problem, as long as you remove yourself. I have a matter to discuss with the proprietor. And if you intend to make a problem of it, I shall see you outside, little girl, for the hiding you deserve.
Look, I ain't obvious. I ain't done talking with him yet. If you think you're such a gent, you should know how to wait in line.
Well, you are an impudent little brat, aren't you? As well as a pickpocket.
Eh? Who are you? How do you know who I am?
The question is, how do you not know who I am? You haven't the courtesy even to remember the faces of your victims, it seems.
What? You mean I... from you?
Broker. Yes, sir.
I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no?
Yes,
The article in question belongs to me. I demand for it to be returned at once.
Oh my. Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull?
Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel. And needless to say...
Oh, and the music box discs too. Oh.
No, you can't have it. You just can't. It's me old man's. Or it was. Now it's mine.
What?
Goodness, Mr. Naruhodo. It's a very awkward situation.
Yes. I think perhaps we should hear both sides of the story in a little more detail. Gina? Is this actually your old man's?
Miss Lestrade, is what the gentleman is saying... What you think? It's all lies, ain't it? Obviously. I spent my life. I never laid lies on that dandy before.
Let's hear it now, you little ragamuffin. You stole it, didn't you? That ticket you brought in here just now.
No, I swear it. I swear to God.
It was barely an hour ago. I was walking along the street, minding my own business, when this little gutterling ran into me. I knew at once what had happened. I've been robbed yet again, I thought to myself. Those wretched pickpockets. Yet again? Oh yes, as you can see, I am a man of impeccable style. This isn't the first time that I've been targeted by these backslub scoundrels. Now then, relinquish my overcoat. Come along now, Miss Lestrade. Give the good gentleman his coat back.
If you're going to cause trouble, I shall have no choice but to call the police.
Hold on, why does everyone think it's me? Just look at this dandy cove. You think I'm the dodgy one?
I'm sorry, but no one's going to believe you.
Well, what about evidence? Yeah. Where's your evidence I've stolen something, eh? Come on, let's see it.
Oh, I have evidence, naturally.
You what?
Evidence? What evidence does he have? What do you have, you weird dandy man? Evidence the article Miss Lestrade redeemed actually belongs to this gentleman.
Of course, we need only consult Mr. Winterbank's ledger to know the truth. We'll be able to look up the name of the person who deposited the article in the first place.
Yeah, brilliant.
I'm very sorry, but I'm afraid that won't be possible.
Oh,
I never ask customers' names. That's a strict policy of mine.
But why not?
Well now, as you can imagine, some of my customers have circumstances to consider. A great many of them prefer to maintain their anonymity.
yes, I see. But then how can you know if an article belongs to the person asking to redeem it?
Oh, it's quite simple. Good sir, might I trouble you for the watchword associated with the article in question? Of course, it's... Professor. Yes, that's right. And all the evidence we need. This gentleman is the rightful owner of the article, without doubt.
A watchword? Interesting. Oh, he's got a safety word so he doesn't accidentally give the wrong thing out. Gina. So, about these watchwords, Mr. Winterbank.
As I just explained, I never ask customers' names when they deposit items with me. There are many reasons why. Certain customers would like to keep their activities secret.
It wasn't exactly a subtle glance at Mr. Sholmes now, was it? He's just there, just taking in that stereoscope image.
Great detectives have no great secrets. Great detectives have no dark secrets. None at all.
Yes, well, anyway, that's why I always ask for a watchword whenever I accept a new article. In many ways, it's like the secret combination of numbers used to unlock a vault. The date of deposit, a description, and a watchword uniquely identify each item. And of course, then I give the storage ticket to the customer. When someone comes to redeem something, I ask for the ticket and the watchword.
If that someone tells you the correct watchword, you return the article.
That's right, sir. Yes, just as soon as the requisite fee is paid.
And I have supplied you with the information you require already. But for the avoidance of doubt, the article in question is an overcoat, deposited 2 months ago on 15th February. With a watchword of Professor.
All perfectly correct information, sir.
But how?
Really, this is beyond a joke now. There is no further room for doubt.
Uh-oh. Is she just gonna... Okay, let's see if we can talk to Dandy Man. This man's quite over the top. So, the way Gina's acting, though, she's really committed to telling us that it is hers or her dad's. And she seems confused that this man knows it. So, I wonder if something is afoot. Picture postcard gentleman. Excuse me, but who are you?
One could expect the inquirer to introduce himself first. Though clearly you are not British, so perhaps our ways are foreign to you.
Oh, sorry, yes. We're from the Empire of Japan. We're studying here.
Oh yes, Japan. I've heard talk of the place.
What is this guy's groove?
Its inhabitants live on some fiery brown-colored soup dressed up with exotic spices.
You might be thinking of somewhere else. And what was that theatrical gesticulation about?
Perhaps. Anyway, if you are a gentleman, sir, you offer your own name first before inquiring after the name of another.
Of course, yes. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a lawyer. Well, a student of law, really.
My name is Susato Mikotoba. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's assistant.
I see. My name is Benedict. Yes.
His name's fucking Eggs Benedict? Eggert Benedict? Oh my god. That's fantastic. Enchante. He's so refined in how he holds himself and how he speaks, but that name is suspicious. Now, to the matter at hand. What? My overcoat. Return it at once. To someone with the style to carry it off.
Every move he makes, every breath he takes, I can't stand watching him.
I can't stand watching him. I mean, it fits. He might have been the same size as that.
Well, let that be an end to the matter. And thank you for your custom, Mr. Eggert Benedict, sir.
With such reasonable rates of interest, I may even decide to come back.
This is why I hate grown-ups. Just because I'm a diver, everyone thinks that makes me a liar.
And the content of this coat pockets, if you please, broker.
But of course, sir. Here's the disc for you.
Just this one?
Pardon, sir?
I was expecting another. That is, I deposited another. Oh man, this guy's definitely stealing this coat. Another disc.
Oh dear. I regret to inform you, sir, that was what was deposited with me was merely the overcoat. The disc happened to be in one of the pockets, but I was completely unaware of it until now.
So, Gutterling, you're hiding more of what's rightfully mine, are you?
Says who, eh? I don't know nothing about it.
Very well.
Then I shall bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style.
Wait a minute. That disc is mine.
Oh,
What do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You've drawn blood, you filthy animal.
Oh my. Yes, there's blood on the disc.
it's because of all these sharp little bumps. That man must have scratched his finger on them.
I found first, alright? I mean, it belonged to me old man.
Wait a second. Did both of these guys, are both of them robbing the same guy?
You're not having it. Or you, take it.
Me?
If I hang on to it, they'll have it off me again. So you keep hold of it.
Miss Lestrade, why is this disc so important to her? The music box disc has been entered into the court record. The court record? What? You there, in the black livery. Hand that disc to me at once, please.
No, don't. He's lying. Grown-ups are all liars.
What do I do now? How am I going to resolve this? Sholmes, we need to go. Mr. Sholmes, what are you examining with such keen interest there? As you enjoy a bar of caramel, I see.
So, you found me at last, Mr. Naruhodo.
Sorry?
After that young pickpocket sent me on my way, I was forced to lurk in the shadows. Cruelly ostracized as the rest of you partook in the jovial atmosphere as fellowship.
Oh, Sholmes, he didn't mean to leave you out.
I had nothing to occupy my mind, but I was too ashamed to let society see what my downfall had done to me. So, feigning mock interest, I pretended to examine the tedious trinkets in this desolate place. Whilst, as you shrewdly observed, gnawing on the only friend I have left, this 7% solution of caramel. Pray, do you claim to understand the depths of my despair, Mr. Naruhodo? But how could you? I was so lonely, so desperately lonely.
Then why on earth didn't you rejoin the conversation? You've been right here. You could just join in. Things have gone from bad to worse here, you know.
Yes, I overheard much of your conversation. Or rather, in my craving for human contact, my ears devoured every word that was uttered.
You really were sad, weren't you?
Poor Mr. Sholmes. I feel simply awful for you.
It would seem that my inferences are correct.
Oh? Surely you're not about to tell us that you've solved the entire case once again.
My dear madam, sometimes I wonder, Will my genius for deduction be commoditized? How much could I pawn it for?
It seems Mr. Sholmes has had another of his flashes of inspiration. Who knows if it'll help resolve the situation between Miss Lestrade and Mysterious Gentleman. What's the right thing to do here? I think we should listen to the deduction. Oh, it's time. It seems like it might be time to deduce some things.
Well, Miss Lestrade, it would appear you find yourself in something of a predicament.
When the blue blaze have you been, eh?
Pardon?
When a lady's in trouble, a true gent's supposed to be there to help. Straight away, not an hour later.
Harsh. Oh, she knocked him out.
And who, pray tell, are you? Are you? Mr. Eggert Benedict, you have in my eyes a veritably encyclopedic array of curiosities about your person. Nevertheless, there are two immovable conclusions I have drawn. I beg your pardon. The first is this. The true reason for your visit to this pawnbrokery today is something you have not yet revealed. And the second is this. A considerable crime is in contemplation. One you will orchestrate with an intent to steal a vast sum of money. Well, Mr. Benedict, what say you to my deductions?
How? He's turned as white as a hard-boiled egg. We got him. We got him. He is guilty of something.
It would seem that once again, Mr. Sholmes has made a flawless deduction.
I don't know about the first word you used there.
Just who do you think you are, sir? Ah, yes, as I hoped. That is precisely the pained expression I was looking for.
Oh, it's deduction time. Let's go. Oh my goodness, I just realized that, chat, now. Every move you make, that was there. Yeah. Yeah, that was an odd reference to put into this game. So weird.
So, shall we begin? The time has come for yet another Herlock Sholmes Logic and Reasoning Spectacular.
Ooh, I think I may finish this after the segment. These segments usually aren't super, super long, so it shouldn't be too bad.
Mystery Man's Aim.
Oh, I'm gonna have a bit of water before I start this last segment I'm gonna be doing tonight.
Oh, 1 sec.
Oh, I haven't hydrated in a while. Oh, I need myself a nice glass of moisture.
First of all, we must ask ourselves on what business you ventured to this pawnbrokery today. You claim to have followed this pickpocketer, having had the redemption ticket stolen from you on the street. But that is most certainly a lie. The real truth is something quite different. As revealed by that which you hold in your hand. Yes, what brought you into the shop in the first place is the staff recruitment flyer. That piece of paper in your hand is a staff wanted advertisement from this very shop. Yet even the most unobservant would soon realize that a man of your appearance has no need for such employ. In other words, there is some ulterior motive for your actions.
He throws it away. The Cane, AG. That's not your name. Is he also a thief?
The cane which you unwittingly clutch to your person exhibits an incontrovertible contradiction. What utter rot. I've had this cane for years. The contradiction of which I speak is, of course, the missing ferrule. The end of any walking cane will be terminated with a metal ferrule to protect the wooden tip. And yet detailed analysis shows the wooden tip of this stick to be utterly bare.
Not the initials. That's not what caught your attention there, bud. Jeez.
Therefore, there is only one conclusion. The rod that you hold in your hand, which appears to be a walking cane, is in fact no cane at all.
What? Oh, it's a sword, I bet.
You recoil, sir? Is something wrong?
And in your recoiling, you inadvertently facilitate the answer of my next conundrum to present itself. Namely, what the truth is behind this rod you bear? Yes, your reaction betrays the truth. The handle, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle, you see. From the moment I saw it, my suspicions were aroused. What walking cane demands such a stout handle? Mused I. But of course, as I said, this is no walking cane. No, that rod is a shovel, is a broken handle of a shovel. Sholmes, what? Are you insane? And now, having determined this undeniable truth, the conclusion is clear. Your true motive for coming here was to take employment at this establishment in order to excavate the ground beneath the premises.
Thank you, Sholmes. That's 100% what was going on here. He has a shovel.
What a calculated crime you've conceived, sir. A wickedly calculated crime.
To tunnel underneath the pawnbrokery. The other ones were why I'm here to dig a hole. Right? The other conjectures he's had are pretty wild, but that one was like extra wild.
Now, Mr. Benedict, let us continue. For we must expose the details of this elaborate crime you have in the planning.
This is utterly absurd. You suggest that I, a gentleman, intend to excavate the ground beneath this pawnbrokery with a broken shovel? What on earth do you propose I could expect to find there? Some long-forgotten treasure, I suppose? Save for such a fanciful theory, what possible reason could I have to do as you say?
Oh, but there is ample reason. As you are only too well aware, Mr. Benedict.
And your furtive glance is more telling than I could have hoped. What?
Let us consider what would motivate a man to infiltrate a shop such as this and covertly dig beneath its floor. The answer is revealed by the council notice on the counter to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn. The letter gives notice of public works to be carried out in the local area. And according to the enclosed plan of the upcoming sewage works, beneath the shops runs a sewer that adjoins another, one that runs under the bank on the opposite side of the road.
This madness has entered the sewers now, has it?
By excavating the ground beneath our feet, you would gain access to the waterway that flows in very close proximity to the great vault of the financial institution opposite.
What are you...
In summary, sir, you devised a master plan to pull off an elaborate bank robbery by dint of underground tunnels.
Master plan?
Which brings us at last to the final chapter of this lurid scheme. With what plunder did the thief hope to make off from the underground vault of the bank? Are you quite serious? Having consulted with Scotland Yard some days ago, I happen to know the answer. But naturally, the answer is no secret to you, is it, Mr. Benedict?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. You see, the picture postcard tells us all we need to know.
A postcard of the Great Exhibition? I'm afraid you've quite lost me.
Currently in the final stage of preparation, the Great Exhibition will soon be underway. And the government has provided extra funds to complete its centerpiece, the Crystal Tower. Funds that currently sit in the vault of the bank on the other side of this road.
Pardon?
Yes, the considerable crime you've been contemplating is the theft of that which sits in the vault of that bank, the special reserve funds for the Great Exhibition. Of course, that is top secret police information, so keep it under your hat, please.
Sholmes, no one knew about that until you said it. Sholmes. Oh, Sholmes. Sholmes. To steal the Great Exhibition's funds.
Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this pawnbroking puzzle.
Sholmes, I don't know if I quite agree with that. Mr. Sholmes.
Well, Mr. Naruhodo, an impressively upbeat deduction for a detective cracked with loneliness. Would you not agree?
Was it true what you said about the bank over the road and what it has in its vault?
Indeed, though few know of its existence, it is one of the government's most closely guarded secrets. Gregson told me in the strictest confidence.
But you just announced it to everyone here. Rather loudly, in fact.
Ah,
And if it's such a big secret, how would Mr. Benedict have come out to find out about it?
there can be but one explanation for that. Clearly it's because the man is a criminal.
But what if he didn't know anything about the money in the vault? If he is a criminal, as you said, then buying a brand new shovel is sure to be the first thing he does now that you've revealed the secret.
Oh,
Or if he doesn't, maybe Mr. Windibank will. He already has plenty of shovels here, after all.
on my life, I assure you, I'm not so unscrupulous. Well, hopefully this taught you a valuable lesson. Sensitive information must be handled with the utmost of care. And don't leave it with Sholmes. I will tell it to people. One can never be sure that someone privy to secrets won't disclose them. And once the word is out, it's out. It was really his fault for telling me in the first place. He should have known I'm a huge blabbermouth.
Perhaps I'll think twice before confiding in you next time, Mr. Sholmes.
An excellent idea, Mr. Naruhodo. An excellent idea. Ha 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 ha.
Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, you know what to do, I'm sure.
Yes, let's listen to that great deduction again, and see if we can massage it into shape. Okay, what direction is this going to go into? I'm sure it's going to have to do with the coat by the end of it.
Nom. Let's try again from the beginning. Sherlock Holmes' magnificent logic and reasoning spectacular.
Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes.
To tunnel underneath the pawnbrokery. First of all, we must ask ourselves on what business you ventured into this pawnbrokery today.
Claim to have followed this. Okay, so pickpocket here, having the redemption ticket stolen from you on the street. But that is most certainly a lie. The real truth is something quite different. I bet it's written on the back of that, as revealed by that which you hold in your hand. Yes. What brought you to the shop in the first place is a staff recruitment flyer. Nope. So by Mr. Sholmes' reasoning, Mr. Benedict came here in order to apply for a job so he could dig down through the floor.
Yes, an attempt to tunnel into sewers to gain access to the money in the vault of the bank across the road. But he wouldn't get very far with a broken shovel, would he?
No. I think it's fair to say his motives lie elsewhere. The question is, where? What did bring Mr. Benedict here at this particular point in time? Ba-ba-bum! Oh, there it is. Let's look at this.
Oh! Look at all the scribbled notes on the back of the flyer here.
I don't believe it.
What is it?
Listen to what it says. Name, Gina Lestrade. Height, 5'2". Green cap, scruffy waistcoat, grubby white shirt, blue satchel, ragged. It's a detailed description of Miss Lestrade.
Goodness.
There's even a sketch of her, hat and all. Although if he showed it to her, she'd fire that smoke grenade launcher in his face for sure.
And look, the details of the shop have been written down here too. Winterbank's Pawnbrokery, Baker Street. Redemption deadline, 15th April.
Which is today's date. Why would Mr. Benedict have all that information scrawled on the back of that piece of paper? Yeah, that's what we're presenting. For sure. Yo, I thought it was just gonna be the redemption word, but like, no, it's a full-on, like, description here. What brought you into the shop in the first place is the info about Miss Lestrade.
Quite so, my dear fellow. It would appear that the writing in the sketch on the reverse of the flyer pertain to the pickpocket to Miss Lestrade and to Mr. Winterbank's pawnbrokery here.
You originally told us that you had merely given chase after Miss Lestrade stole the redemption ticket from you.
But that, sir, is a thinly veiled lie.
It is the information on the back of the flyer that led you here today, by which I mean here to Winterbank's pawnbrokery, and today the redemption deadline of that overcoat.
So you waited outside for the young girl matching the description you've written down to arrive. Huh. And you've gone to some lengths to hide the reason for your pursuit of Miss Lestrade. In other words, there's some ulterior motive for your actions. The cane, which you unwittingly clutched to your person, exhibits an incontrovertible contradiction. What utter rot. I've had this cane for years.
Yeah, since when, bud? Why would you get someone else's initials engraved on it? What's a ferrule?
It's the metal cap commonly found on the end of a cane, Mr. Naruhodo.
Ah, the bit that makes a nice clacking sound on the pavement.
Yes, exactly. And Mr. Sholmes is right. It appears to be missing on this cane.
But it doesn't actually look broken, does it?
No, it doesn't. Though the gentleman certainly did recoil when Mr. Sholmes identified the cane as suspicious.
In other words, there's some secret about the cane that Mr. Benedict would rather we don't know. Let's look at this. Look here, Mr. Sato. There's some letters on the handle.
Yes. Those must be initials, I think. In the West, it's customary for people to engrave their belongings with the first letters of their names.
So Herlock Sholmes would be HS, you mean?
That's right. And the initials on this cane, obviously. Oh.
AG? Why does it feel as though that's not quite right? Initialing. Yeah, something here is weird, dude. Why do you have someone else's name on there? Contradiction of which I speak, of course, is the initialing.
A most astute observation, wouldn't you say, Mr. Eggert Benedict? We are led to believe, sir, that your initials are EB. Yet in a most possessive manner, you have in your grasp a cane bearing the initials AG. An incontrovertible contradiction indeed, would you not agree? No, you're wrong. This cane isn't...
You said before that you'd had that cane for years. So don't try to tell us that you just borrowed it from a friend or found it in the park.
In short, though you hold yourself to be a gentleman, you have withheld your true name. You recoil, sir. Is something wrong? And in your recoiling, you inadvertently facilitate the answer of the next conundrum to present itself. Namely, what is the truth behind this rod you bear? Yes, your reaction betrays the truth. The handle, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle, you see.
Let's consider the bare bones of what's happened here. Miss Lestrade redeemed that fine-looking overcoat, and now a mysterious man has appeared, introducing himself with a fake name, and claiming that the overcoat belongs to him.
We know that he actually identified Miss Lestrade from a written description, which suggests that everything else he's told us is untrue.
So what we need to do here is somehow prove that the overcoat cannot possibly belong to him. Oh, does the overcoat have initials? Ooh. The shirt's a little small for you, isn't it?
Take that!
Doesn't quite fit. That's not your jacket, bro. Split seam, which you evidently would like to conceal, is a key to understanding this riddle, you see.
Ah. Yes, because that overcoat is rather obviously a poor fit.
Having forced it over your broad shoulders, the seam is already breaking apart.
My suspicions were aroused from the outset. When you so badly lied about your name and so boldly waylaid this pickpocket. Gah! The catalogue of untruths has all been for one very specific purpose. To steal the article the young girl redeemed from Mr. Winterbank. Oh! But what really irks me is this. The considerable crime I initially imagined had been considerably curtailed. Shit, please forget about that.
To abscond with a redeemed item. Solved. Topic 2. I'm pretty sure it's not that. It was for the music discs, I'm pretty sure. But why?
Now, Mr. Benedict, let us continue. For we must expose the details of this elaborate crime you have in the planning. This is utterly absurd. You suggest that I, a gentleman, designed a wheeze to filch some tawdry article of pawnage? Have you forgotten that I redeemed the article in the proper manner using the watchword? Which, had I not been the one to deposit it in the first place? How could I possibly have known the relevant details? N'est-ce pas? Oh, but the watchword can be discovered. As you are only too well aware, Mr. Benedict.
Yeah, you could just look at the register.
Your furtive glance is more telling than I could have hoped. What? Let us consider how one might come to learn a secret watchword relating to the pawn property of another. The method is revealed by the council notice on the counter to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn.
The direction of deduction must change rather dramatically now, I think.
Yes, no more talk of tunneling into the sewers. Which is a pity, because it all sounded rather exciting. I kind of like the tunneling under for crime idea. That was a good one. Anyway, you can't deny that this mysterious gentleman did know the watchword.
Yes, Professor. If you didn't know that word, Mr. Winterbank would never allow you to redeem the article.
Or looking at it another way, if you did know that word, Mr. Winterbank would allow you to redeem the article whether it was yours or not. So the question is, could this gentleman have found the watchword out somehow? Council notice. Note to let. This shit's gonna be redeemed today. Note, word professor. Don't give it to anyone else. Let's check. Look at this, Mr. Sato.
It appears to be a memo that Mr. Winterbank has scribbled to himself.
Let's see. What does it say? Oh, professor. It's just written there. It's just right there. Mr. Winterbank must make a note of the watchwords his customers give him, right before their eyes. And in an alarmingly clear script as well.
Oh dear. I don't know where to look. Who knows what other secrets I might see?
Yeah, just... Bro, it's right there. Anyone could have done that. The method is revealed by the notelet on the counter to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn.
Yes, the broker here follows the same procedure whenever a customer comes to redeem an article. He asks the customer for the watchword, and notes down the response uttered on a note list he has to hand. Then he consults his ledger and confirms whether or not the watchword matches that of the article in question. I would expect nothing less of a diligent pawnbroker.
But his diligence clearly has its disadvantages.
What are you talking about? It is increasingly apparent that you were present in this shop before your accusation against Miss Lestrade. In all likelihood, you followed her inside and then observed her talking to Mr. Winterbank. When the diligent broker made a note of the watchword, as is his common practice, you observed him writing the word professor.
Oh, you observed him writing the word professor on the notelet beside the ledger.
And that, sir, was the master plan you devised to steal the pawned article from Miss Lestrade. Master plan? Which brings us at last to the final chapter of this lurid scheme. Why would you go to such lengths to redeem that particular article from the pawnbroker? Are you quite serious? For an ill-fitting overcoat hardly seems to justify the effort, much less a worthless music box disc. But naturally, you had very good reason to make them yours, didn't you, Mr. Benedict?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. You see, the picture postcard tells us all we need to know.
Oh, no, we're not going for that. Articles we're talking about are the overcoat and the music box disc that was in one of the pockets.
Which, according to Mr. Winterbank, isn't even worth a penny.
Yet this man went to such lengths to steal them. Why? Unless this is evidence in another case or something.
I wonder if perhaps we already have the evidence we need to explain it, Mr. Naruhodo.
Could we? Really? Better have a thorough look through all the evidence we've collected so far. Oh, huh. Oh, Mr. McGill did? For McGilded? What? We're okay. I didn't expect this.
Scribbled word or two. It looks like somebody's name.
For McGilded. McGilded? It couldn't be.
But it is, Mr. Naruto. A name I shall never forget as long as I live.
But why? Why is his name on this? The music box disc information has been updated in the court record. Yeah, let's go for that.
Take that!
Huh. You see, this music box disc tells us all we need to know. And what's that on the back? It reads, For McGilded. Ah, Mr. Magnus McGilded, the unfortunate philanthropist who perished in curious circumstances at the Old Bailey 2 months ago. A prominent man in London whose loan-mongering demonstrated a distinct lack of scruples. So, you're an associate of his, are you? Or perhaps a subordinate? Eggs Benedict, what's your real name? Mr. McGilded was a man of unusually small stature. In fact, he was precisely the right size for that overcoat that you squeezed yourself into. Arrgh. Your true identity remains shrouded in mystery, Mr. Eggert Benedict. But the final conclusion here is crystal clear. The reason you came to this pawnbrokery today. You know, this man has a fancy hat. Does this man relate to the Hat Man from the beginning? Was to retrieve an article left behind by the late Magnus McGilded. Ooh. Ooh. He's got like the same facial expressions as McGilded too. To acquire an item deposited by Mr. McGilded. Hom. Deduction complete. Elementary. And I think I'm gonna call it there. Well, Mr. Magnus McGilded. We'll get to find out what your mystery is next time, because it's gotten quite late. As well as my co-host fell asleep about an hour ago, but I wasn't sure what to cut it off. It's gonna be a bit of a quieter goodbye today, because it's, you know, it's gonna be fast. CaptnmcD isn't here. I should have just put a CaptnmcD asleep logo before, because she's been napping the last little bit. We have to summarize this for her later. Maybe she'll watch the summary. Maybe she'll watch the restream. Who knows? But quick deductions before we go. Magnus McGilded's name has been brought up again, which means that we can maybe get some answers for that first case. And will it relate to something Miss Brett has done? Who knows? This could be something culminating from all 4 cases before. Some great bigger picture that we haven't seen this whole time. But that's gonna lie in mystery. And we've got a lot of setting. We're basically just getting what this room is gonna be, because I'm sure the crime is gonna take place here. And if not, something's gonna happen here. Like we've got so many props introduced to us in just this one room, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, in any case, I'm gonna be saying good night, y'all. It's been a chill time, and I'll catch you later. We'll probably have more to say about this next week when we've got more gas in the tank, y'all. Peace out, everyone.